Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the fucking stream. This is the threadguy magic show. I just realized I look like a magician, bro. What am I supposed to do? I look like a fucking magician. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the fucking stream. Look, here's the deal: is like we have to take these fits seriously. It's just turn it into a fashion show. It is what it is. I'm excited about it. Jazz, thanks for the gifted. I had this fit on before where I had like, okay, I'm wearing this like a really tight chain. It's like a choker. It doesn't choke me, but it's low-key a choker. It's a 16-inch. I probably should have got an 18-inch. It's a little bit tight. And I was wearing a wife beater under this, like a small wife beater, like a really tight one that like came down and my chest hair was flinging out. And we had a whole debate about whether or not I was allowed to wear the fit or not. And I called my mom as the final verdict. And she said, son, I love you. And she just looked at me like this. I said, all right, fine. I took it off and we pivoted to the banker shirt. So I'm fucking hyped. Welcome back to the stream, man. It's a beautiful day here in New York City, New York. There's a lot to talk about. Market closes in 12 minutes. The S&P is only down 0.5%, which all things considered is not very bad. We have a lot to cover. We have a lot to get into. A big earnings. We have Robinhood shortly after close. If you want, we can tune into the Emit stream and get some comms on Robinhood. We have Elon lawsuit going on as we speak with Sam Altman. We have the Wall Street Journal FUD article on OpenAI. We got Paul Tudor Jones dropped a podcast, which is fascinating. The markets are so fun. He's one of the greatest traders of all time, and his all-time return weighted against the S&P 500 is minus 0.12% return. Insane. It makes you wonder what the fuck exactly, but what the fuck. We have some oil stuff. Specifically, the UAE leaving OPEC, which seems to be a pretty big deal. And then, as always, we got the general market stuff. We have hood earnings. We have huge ones tomorrow. We have FOMC tomorrow. And then, of course, if that was not enough, we have the star of FinTwit coming on the show today. He goes by the name of Bubble Boy, BUBBLEBOI. And I am of the understanding that he is now post-economic after the Intel trade. He's probably like the Intel guy. I went deep on his Twitter yesterday, which, by the way, is no fucking easy fate. And I went through his Twitter. It took me 30 minutes to get to April 10th, and then I just gave up trying to read all of his tweets. But he references a bunch of old tweets where he was shilling Intel at February 25. Like, he's been shilling Intel for absolutely ever. And some are calling him Intel GCR. I think for all of the fuckery that's going on in this AI bottleneck, photonics, rotate out further. This is a bottleneck. No, that's a bottleneck. No, this is a bottleneck. No one knows what a bottleneck is. I think he's one of the people that can come here and talk to us about what a bottleneck is. What's actually interesting, what actually has value, what's actually important, and where should we actually focus. And so if you have no idea what's going on in some of this AI stuff and you're only a crypto trader or you only trade whatever and you're trying to figure it out, Bubble Boy interview I think is going to be absolute cinema in about 1 hour and 10 minutes. I even dressed up for him. Be honest, rate the fit out of 10. I dressed up for him. I have sweatpants on underneath. Can't show you that. But I dressed up for him. I threw a banker fit on. I threw the white blazer. I've been looking for an excuse to wear the white blazer. This thing was not fucking cheap. So I got my excuse. I threw the fit on. Bubble Boy, I'm looking good for you, baby. If you are watching on Twitter or YouTube and you would like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. That is the only place that I read the chat. I would love to read it on other platforms, but it sucks. I don't know what to tell you. So it's not going to happen. I have a lot to talk about. I actually have a lot to get off my chest. I traded an on-chain coin yesterday and did not do very well. A little fruity per usual. Still tough, though. Thank you. I have a lot I want to say. I have a lot to get off my chest. I have a lot to cover, and we have a lot to go over if we're going to fucking stay on top of these markets. So let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Roll call, baby. Meatball, what's good? Seth, Rockefeller, TG Mama, what's good? Jackson, Ray, Viblet, Vincent, Seth, what's good? Sweat, Cal, Cole, Squid, Hidden Character, what's good? What's good? Kevin, Pudgy, Kira, Nick, what's good? Caleb, One Positive Dude, what's good? Alex, Tingle Trader, what's good? Art Mommy, what's good? Gun Cockers, what's up? Sling, Malcolm, B1, Chunky Nuts, and D. NASDAQ, what's up? What's up? What's up? David on chain, what's good? Poca, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Moncop Maxi, Fartcoin Maxi, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Bash, what's up? Live the life, what's up? Baby, what's up? What's up? What's up? 00 XM, Tulip King, the whole squad in here. Welcome. Lino, welcome. I want Lambo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Ether Soul, what's good? Alex and Jimmy, what's good? All right. Welcome back. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, I'm not gonna spend that much time on the intro stuff, and also we gotta fix this fucking mic. This thing's pissing me off. J-Led, what's good? I'm not gonna spend too much time on the intro stuff because we got important topics we need to cover ASAP. But I did start watching Game of Thrones. Okay, I started watching Game of Thrones for the second time, and I'm 3 episodes in. I see a lot of myself in Khal Drogo. I think I see a lot of myself when I look at him. And the one thing that's so crazy to me to think about is I'm watching Game of Thrones and thinking to myself, as I watch it on my Amazon Prime subscription with my iPhone in front of me and my throat coat tee, and no, I've never seen it. And my laptop in front of me, and I'm looking at Hyperliquid equity perps, thinking about Robinhood options, reading Base 16Z tweets, and I'm thinking to myself, basically for all of humanity, people walked around in wool coats with swords on foot and horseback and ate like cow jerky and didn't have an internet connection. Like for basically the entirety of human civilization, no one had an internet connection. Is so absurd. I'm just watching how these people live, and I'm like, man, I would have done well in that era because I could do well in any era, but unbelievable that these people, this is how most of humans lived ever. Like we just live in an anomaly time. How do they eat without YouTube? How do they trade? What do they do all day without 24/7 Hyperliquid perps? It's fascinating. Seriously, I'm not even trying to troll. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that almost like all of human history lived like this. Is crazy. So it's a good watch. You know, it's fiction. I know it's fiction, but I'm saying up until what, 50 years ago, maybe when was Wi-Fi invented? When was Wi-Fi invented? Up until like 30, 40 years. No one's had an internet connection. And I was just born in the right era, man. I was born in the right era to stream on Twitch, to trade equity perps, and talk about crypto. I just was born in the right era. It's unbelievable watching this, that others did not get to grow up in this era, but it is what it is, and I'm grateful for it, so I'm appreciative of it. Second thing is I bought an on-chain coin yesterday. I bought an on-chain coin, and I bought a lot of it. And I'm not here to show you the on-chain coin because it's down a lot, and I actually think it's a bad coin. But I am here to tell you I'm having mixed opinions on trading in public. It's very difficult because somebody posted my perps account as well when I longed. What did I long? I longed Nvidia on the breakout, closed at a loss, small loss, but I longed on the breakout as decent trade and closed at a loss just because I'll talk about why I think the market. It's a tough market to trade right now if you're sidelined. This is one of the things I want to talk to Bubble Boy about is I'm actually struggling trying to figure out what to do in this market with equities because it's like, what do you do? You know, it's so overextended and we're going further and further and further out on the risk curve. The accounts are getting scammier and scammier. And we have this oil overhang continuing. There's just like I don't know. It's a very weird spot. But trading in public is weird, man. And I don't know how I feel about it. But trading in public is weird. And these on-chain guys are so brutal, man, because you talk shit about meme coins and everybody calls you a retard. and then you bid meme coins, and then everybody calls you a retard. It's like, man, it is hard. This is one of the things I've debated about posting my trades in the pit. Is it doesn't feel good. It's a weird spot. Like, it doesn't feel good to be wrong when you call your shot. And it also doesn't feel good to be really right, and then people have FOMO, and then you make money, but people in the pit lose money because they got excited because you were excited. They chase your entries, and it still ends up in a weird spot. And so I don't know. I always go back and forth on this. Like, I love my wins being public, but I don't like my losses being public. I don't like my losses being public, and it definitely does make it harder to trade when people are when you know people are watching. It makes it harder to trade. And I don't know, like, chat, what is your stance on trading in public? I don't really know. It's a weird one. But I like to do it because I don't really show size, but my size is out there. Pause. People know my size. And I feel like if I am talking about what I'm in publicly, people appreciate it, in my opinion. I think people appreciate if I talk about what I'm in publicly. Even though I'm not the greatest trader in the world, I'm definitely better than I was a year ago, and I'm way better than I was 2 years ago. And so I think losing in the pit makes it human as well. But there definitely is no legitimate benefit to doing it. Like, you don't actually gain. If anything, you get the evil eye, right? If I were to bank a 6-figure trade, you get the evil eye, right? That's why it fell off, but I used to walk around with the evil eye on my phone because people fucking get weird about it. So I don't know. That's where I'm at on. I don't know. It's just like a weird topic. Like, I don't like, a lot of these fun guys. Yeah, it fell off. What does it mean when what does it mean when it fell off? What does it mean when evil eye falls off? Wow. The amulet has fully absorbed the negative energy intended for you and has successfully fulfilled its purpose of protection. That's fucked. Are you Italian? I'm Italian as fuck. So I don't know. I've been sharing percentages. I don't share size. My size exists if you tried really hard to find it. But it's pretty cool to share your wins and losses. And I'm just going to leave most of it in the pit, I think. Because, like, I'm cool with your guys, like, you guys getting my trades. But I'm not super hyped about. I think posting P&L is a weird proposition. It's not smart to post P&L. But percentages is cool. And it is what it is. Post pit link. How'd you get here if you don't have the pit link? Also, one more thing. I have a guest announcement for May 13th, Wednesday. That would be 2 weeks from now. I have a guest announcement, and it's probably my favorite guest that I've been working on. Yeah. I think it's the favorite. I think it's probably the favorite guest that I have a message out to right now, and it's probably the most. No, it's not B16. I never asked him. I'm scared to ask him. It's probably the most requested guest that has ever been discussed on the stream. Not the biggest, but the most requested, I would argue. He's probably the most requested guest. Of the stream. Small Pepe, are you here before I call it out? Are you here before I call it out, Small Pepe? Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Trader Main. We've had Trader Main on. I can bring Trader Main back. It's Wednesday, May 13th at 5 p.m. EST will be joined by Chris Camillo. Let's go, man. Chris Camillo. Let's go. 2 weeks. Let's go. Let's fucking go, man. We're moving up. We're moving up. Yeah, let's go. We're moving up in the world, guys. Getting the big. We are slowly but surely climbing up. We're dressing better. The lighting looks better. The set looks better. The guests are getting bigger. I'll show you a Chris Camillo thing real quick before we move on. Actually, let's fucking go, man. Chris Camillo, if you are not familiar with this fellow, has publicly. Let's see the clip. Iced coffee hour. Has publicly turned $20,000 into $80 million. I can't find the clip. What do they call it? The iced coffee hour? It's Graham Stephan. $20,000 into $80 million trading public markets. Here it is. 20,000 into 80 million, brother. Here it is.
20.
Let's watch it real quick, and then we'll start the stream. This is what we're chasing, okay? And now the thing about Chris Camillo doing this is his entire strategy. The only way that he knows how to trade is megachurch. All he does, attention, social arbitrage, reading TikTok comments, what's hot that hasn't caught up, what's selling out that earnings don't reflect. Where is there information asymmetry that I can slam? Nice fit today. Thank you.
$1,000 that I initially invested has generated roughly $80 million of returns over the past 17, 18 years. So then you have to take taxes. Then you have to take life expenses. And as I've discussed with you guys before, I take...
His voice is nuts, by the way. I listen to this shit while I sleep.
Take the bulk of my money out every year that I make, and I invested in private companies. I'm invested now in almost, 170 early stage companies over the past 17 years, which was the biggest investment mistake I ever made because I don't generate outsized returns on those private companies. So I no longer do that. I no longer invest in early stage companies because my returns are generating north of 70% annualized over the past 17, 18 years. And why would I take money out of a public portfolio that's generating 70+% annualized return?
70+% annualized returns.
And put them into private companies that's generating returns between, 10 and 15% portfolio average. It took me a long time to realize the mistake I would.
So 2 weeks, we're just going to start running the circuit. It's going to be very evident very soon that if you are a big trader or you're a big founder with a public asset that can be traded, you come on Counterparty, you come on the threadguy stream because we have people in this chat that are young, that are hungry, and that actually move markets, that actually trade, that actually have size, that actually participate. And so Chris Camillo will be joining us on the stream very shortly. I'm fucking stoked. And we will also be joined by Bubble Boy today. I'm so hype on the retail, like the non-quant guy that trades his own book, moves real size, moves real money. I'm fucking hype about it. It's just like my favorite archetype. And that is what we are dialing in on. So shout out to Chris fucking Camillo. We have a lot to get into today. Somebody update me if Robinhood earnings come out ASAP. Somebody update me if Robinhood earnings come out. Let's check in real quick on a minute before we do market close. Actually, let's do this. Let's check in real quick to see where we're at.
Down 3, down 2.5.
Let's check.
Okay, lost 80, lost 79.
Is it out or no?
Gosh.
The numbers should be in now.
Starbucks up 5%.
Starbucks green. Seagate's getting a pump.
It's out.
Robinhood
It's out.
1.07. They missed hard.
They missed hard.
Oh, bummer.
1.07 versus 1. So this was worse than what the analysts had already revised down for.
Fuck.
Revenue
Way worse.
Revenue's up 15% year over year. EPS also missed by a penny. EPS is up 3% year over year.
Wow.
Their take rates must have been so much lower.
Does anybody hold Hood? Who holds Hood?
I wonder if crypto just got shot. And I was applying similar takes of what we saw last quarter. And now they've just completely given better pricing to try to just
To compete, right?
Yeah, to win customers at all.
Fuck.
Okay, so those two numbers, it's kind of similar to what we all three thought. They wouldn't be the best. They ended up being a bit worse than even the lowest levels some people thought. And that's why the stock's reacting the way that it's reacting. And obviously the monthly data that we've seen over the past couple of months, February, March in particular, were not the best. 78 right there. It could settle around 75, maybe not the worst, but obviously this thing is in free fall.
Okay, what else?
End phase 37, that's green. Starbucks getting a nice pump right there. We'll check that out.
Bloom and Seagate.
No numbers yet. T-Mobile, that is up. Seagate, 606.
What's the best ticker for Visa?
Almost 607, now 601.
Visa
And then
Crush.
Bloom, 237.
How much is this up?
Up from 228.
Yeah.
Visa crushed.
Visa, I'm just looking at their numbers here.
Visa got a double beat by 7% on EPS, beat by 4% on revenue, 331 versus
Let's see.
310. EPS is up 20% year over year, beat by 4% on revenue, 11.2 versus 10.7 billion. Seagate beat by 17% on EPS, 410 versus 350. That's up 115% year over year. Revenue 3.1 versus 2.96, beat by 5%.
Who posts the
44% year over year? And then Bloom beat by 238% on EPS. EPS is up 1,367%.
What account posts the best?
Year over year, 44 cents versus 13 cents. Revenue 750 million versus 540 expected, beat by 40%. Revenue's up 130% year over year.
Let's just look at all
That's
these.
why I was more excited to see Bloom than Robinhood.
I don't know what this
beat
is.
revenue by 39%. That is not easy to do.
BKNG.
Yeah, Bloom deserves the pump right there.
I think they might have a little bit of a micron. I honestly will. You could probably even buy now. I think this might be similar to Micron, where the beat was so big that people wanted to hear a little bit more.
Bloom. This is a mid.
The stock
squad.
sort of waited.
Wow, this is nuts.
Honestly,
this is one of Chris Camillo's biggest.
Dude, Bloom is gonna run.
Look at this thing.
Here's the update.
Oh my god.
Hey,
wow.
Robinhood shares about 5% lower in extended trading.
That is a monster,
after missing on both the top and bottom line this quarter. EPS coming in at 38 cents.
It's up like 10% after hours.
Estimate.
What else?
Revenue coming in.
Hood we saw. Let's check Hood again.
1.07 billion.
Chaz, anyone hold Bloom?
1.18 billion expected.
Hood got
trading-based revenue also weaker than expected.
Man, it's on 7%.
23 million. That's down 20% sequentially.
Just
Options,
destroyed.
Equities, and crypto revenue all missed consensus.
What do you think it is for Robinhood? Do you think it's
The
crypto?
biggest drag, down 47% year over year. But CFO Shiv Verma telling me the miss wasn't about weak trading activity. He said that
And
trading
then
volumes
Galaxy.
were healthy
I
and
think
that
it's
the
mostly
shortfall
crypto.
came from lower rebates and take rates on the back end, in part because more active traders.
That's exactly what you said, Tanner. Looks like their rates came down.
GLXY.
Are using the platform, and those customers typically
Galaxy's
trade
up
at
like
lower pricing tiers. Management's also pointing to customer deposits as a sign that retail is resilient.
Ron escalates
Net
calls withdrawals that affects
at
balance
18 billion,
sheets.
which Verma called
Just check
Robinhood's
real quick on
North
Hood.
Star metric. Prediction markets were the bright spot. Event contracts hitting a record 8.8 billion, with their revenue segment up 320% from a year ago. But costs, they are moving higher too. Robinhood raising full year outlook for adjusted.
Who was the Galaxy boy you had on 6 months ago? Flood Capital.
2.78 billion to 2.8 billion.
Got it.
Guys?
Okay.
Okay, so before we go deeper into Hood,
Let's turn
Bloom
this off
is
in a
up
second.
10%. Seagate is pumping. I just want to say something that all three of us have been talking about for the past couple of days. Bloom and Seagate both up 10%. The
You wanna watch this for a
market
second?
is obsessed, and with a good reason, for AI data center infrastructure stocks.
Yeah.
Bloom is in there, even though that has an expensive multiple. Seagate's in there, and their multiple is actually quite healthy. And if they put up the growth and you're part of that thematic, because the whole entire world is spending trillions and trillions of dollars on this stuff, you're going to get a pump. It's just that simple. People would rather pay a higher multiple for something that they know is in the right thematic versus something like
wow.
software.
What does this do?
What's happened with the
What is
IGB
Seagate?
over the past couple months. And so
Oh
I think
my
that's
fucking
another
God.
headwind, unfortunately, for Hood. And
Would you ever get a
Intel
co-host
for
potentially
Seagate.
if they were sick? I'd rather just have guests every day.
Also in there, so 3 names reporting that are tied
Wow.
into that narrative.
Top wick on this thing is nuts.
We don't have Teradyne's numbers yet, right?
I haven't seen them yet. It's up 2%, but that could fade in a second.
Seagate technology.
Seagate just said, we believe Seagate is entering a
Data
new era of
storage.
structural growth as AI applications amplify
Wow.
data creation and support sustained
Nuts.
storage demand.
All right, that's crazy. Wow. Likely's in your PC right now. Crazy. All right, let's go over market close. Let's do our normal flow here, and we'll get into the swing of things. We'll check back in on some of these companies' earnings and see how they trade, see how Hood does. Let's get into it. If you're watching YouTube or Twitter and you look to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy, you know where to find me. It's the only chat that I read. I like to read the other ones, but they fucking suck, so I don't. Tail, good to see you. All right. Weird day today. A lot of these high beta names kind of got crushed. Things are a little bit all over the place. S&P is down like 0.5%. Some things got crushed after hours. Some things pumped after hours. What are you in? What did you buy? What did you sell? What did you make money on? What did you lose money on? Where are you positioning? What are you positioning out of? What are you rotating into? What do you want to take a position in? Give me your full rundown. What do you got? Long Apple still in. ES longs. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Grossly long Intel. Cooked on scam. Well, I got cooked on scam. BE call option for May 22 before earnings. I bought Grid and Pave ETF. I don't even know what that is. Short XYZ 100 low size. Why? Qualcomm. Whoa. That's fun. Current strategy is not trading. Maybe for the better. What else? What else? Underwater BTC longs. Low key bought XPL. Brother. New Nokia position. Interesting. What's the thesis on Nokia? Still spot BTC and ETH. Yeah, the ETH shit feels fucking cooked. DNAP. What was the base 16Z stock? The GitHub thing? Hey, I'm 18. Longing good after my paycheck. Shorted Bitcoin at recent highs and long Aster. Longing hood. Good luck, man. I'm rooting for you. Welcome to the stream. Snowman's melting. I'm up on United Health, CVS, and Q. DCAing into Lilly for earnings tomorrow. Bought CVX calls around 183. Nokia's new partner for NVIDIA. That's pretty old, though, right? Isn't that NVIDIA Nokia thing, like, pretty old? If I'm not mistaken. Long bio. The meme coin or real? What else? Damn, you wearing a suit? Yeah, we wear suits now. Yeah, but they just wrote the check. Got it. Anything else before we look at the market? Anything else? Anything? Long BTC and silver, shorted oil, and SP 500. Asteroid, still. What's the ticker for Nokia? Nope. Wow, I had a good day today. Nice. Short counterparty. Yeah, good luck. Long Amazon into earnings, spot bags. Okay, for me, and we'll get into market close, I don't have much. I have spot BTC, as you know, 30 to 40-ish% of my portfolio after paying taxes. I traded NVIDIA ATH break, but like kind of retarded and just like let it close for a small loss. And then I have like a baby Intel long open, but I'm just, I feel like a little bit cucked. I'm going to be honest. I feel a little bit cucked and unsure what I'm supposed to do with this AI trade right now because I feel relatively late to what might be one of the greatest bubbles ever. I feel like just impeccable. The market's so smart, right? Impeccably played with the war fake out right before this, generational pump. Just so impeccable the way that it was played. So beautifully. Like, convince everyone nuclear war is happening, shake everybody out, dump it just enough to make people panic, but not too much to be irrecoverable, and then rip it back to new all-time highs with everybody sidelined. So beautiful. So fucking beautiful. You have to give your hats off to the market makers, your hats off to the president of the United States of America, and you got to just respect the market. You have to. It was pretty beautiful, the way that trap happened. Just complete and utter textbook. So I'm in a weird spot. I'll talk a little bit more about my spot when we get to oil right away. And we got Bubble Boy in 45 minutes, who I'm actually going to use as a crutch to help me a little bit on what to do and how to do it. But without further ado, let us go over market close here. And we have SPY S&P 500 coming in with its first red day in a couple, down 0.5%. It was down more. It got to 708 and some change, maybe 709 on the dot. 708. Q's down a full percent, 657. IGV down half. SPX down half. The Dow is flat. NASDAQ down 1. And the semiconductor index down 4%. SOX back-to-back red days. It is now 5.5% off highs. 5.5% off highs. Look, I know it's been up only forever, but it is down 5.5% off of highs. Crypto is just completely uninspiring right now. I don't have a better word for you than uninspiring. VIX is down 1%. Zcash is 334 and looks terrible. Our guest tomorrow traded Zcash in alts pretty well. Tolks. I'm excited to have him on. Bitcoin just weak. 76.4. Who's in a Bitcoin position on leverage? I'm curious. ETH under 2,300 and holding on this line for dear life. I would argue. Have you had Rhino on before? No, that is a very tough get. I'm not sure we'll be able to get him on. Solana is under 84 and looks like it wants to puke. Hyperliquid under 40. Monero 378. Wavy 80, nice close. Bitcoin dominance 60.50. Looks. I like BTCD being high right now. I'm not gonna lie. I want Bitcoin to trade well. Stretch under 100. That means there's no reason to check this, but we'll do it anyways. 5.2 BTC for Sailor. It appears I have 2 TradingView tabs open. BTCD mentioned. Are you in any Sol coins right now? Yeah, I'm in this garbage on-chain coin, but it is what it is. Gold, pretty ugly. 46, and silver is 73, and looks like it wants to lose it. I drew this line a long time ago. Why does Sol suck so much? Sol sucks so much because it needs a new narrative. It doesn't have a narrative. It sucks for the same reason ETH sucks. What's the narrative to push Sol above 300? I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Energy here is starting to feel a little bit scary, I would argue. Started to feel a little bit scary. Now, this would print a nasty head and shoulders, but, you know, a rip above 102 and some change on CL, and all of a sudden you're scared, right? Like, this could print a nasty chart, and we could be done with it, but I don't know what exactly is going to happen here. What's the trade for UAE leaving OPEC? I think short-term bearish oil, long-term deep uncertainty in the oil markets as to like hierarchy is going to be shaken up. So I don't really know. Crude up 4, Brent up 2, and then a lot of these energy names. I added quite a few of them yesterday. I added NRG yesterday, down 3.5. I added VST, down 3.5. I added CEG, down 3, and I added TLN, down 2.3. This was, if we're following hallucination yield, by the way, this TLN name is what GPT likes the most for a long energy that is in bloom. It's $16 billion name, TLN, and they have I think they have a bunch of contracts. Let's see, like, what is TLN? Energy stock. It's a Houston-based independent power producer. It's considered a high-conviction AI infrastructure play, notably partnering with Amazon, AWS to power data centers with nuclear energy. So just, I'm not in it, but just flagging the hallucination yield trade. OpenAI and Claude like TLN as a bloom energy beta, and then the gas names are up a little bit. Defense is Palantir's at 1.3 with IGV. Knox up half. Lockheed's basically flat, and Raytheon's up a little bit, but these have traded terrible. These have traded like, not only, I saw this tweet that like Raytheon is trading like, not only is the war over, but we will never go to war again. So interesting. It's a funny tweet. And then here we are with big tech. So Sive is the Serenity main name. We'll look at the Serenity index in a second. Sive is a Serenity main name. Chart looks kind of ridiculous, but it's up 8% today. It got crushed when Poet got crushed yesterday on that NDA that they broke and then lost their contract with Marvell, which we covered. That was fucking hilarious. It kind of got dragged down, but it's up 8%. What do we got? Adobe looks terrible. Apple is up 1%. Microsoft, here's the big zoomed out MSFT chart, is up 1%. Netflix up 1%, and then everything else is pretty red today. So Google basically chilling at all-time highs, flat. Intel, which is the bubble boy stock, which we will talk about today for a while, is, I mean, it looks insane. Basically down 0.5% today, but it looks nuts. It's chilling at all-time highs. Amazon down 0.5%, also chilling at all-time highs. Tesla down 1%. And man, if there was ever a time for me to learn how to short, maybe this is the time. Really, maybe this is the time. I saw this. Let's see, where's the thing about his his pay package. Where is that? Where's the thing about his pay package? Fuck my life. I want to find this Elon. Let me see if I can find it with one search. If not, I'll come back to it. SpaceX decided Elon Musk's pay to massive milestones, including a 7.5 trillion valuation, a 1 million person Mars colony, which is so ridiculous, and space-based data centers. He only gets paid if SpaceX hits the targets. But the structure also puts more pressure on the biggest question on Musk is how much attention Tesla actually gets. Now, this is crazy because all of the Elon paydays to come from here are dependent on ridiculous goalposts for SpaceX. Like, he has to basically not only change the world, but like revolutionize other planets, not just change Earth, but change other planets if he's going to hit these pay packages. And the way you could think about it is I think it's very zero sum, right? It's every second he spends on Tesla is 1 second he cannot spend on getting people to Mars and getting a 1 million person colony on Mars. And so this, I'm sorry, I know it's Elon, I know we're not dealing with altcoins, I know these are way bigger assets, but it feels very akin to a slow rug of a second coin, Andre, crypto DeFi Andre. It feels very similar. Like what is, what happens to the Tesla premium without Elon? It remains, also Luke, my computer is very slow, I'm just warning you. It remains to be seen, but Tesla trades like a 330 PE. And so what happens to that when Elon can't spend any time on Tesla? So it's just like laggy. I don't know what I mean by slow. So anyways, Meta, down 1%. NVIDIA, this is kind of a scary chart if we don't get a follow through on this, right? Like it's fine if we get a 200 retest and some change, but scary without a follow through, I would imagine. Definitely scary without a follow through. And so that's that. And then anything else crazy? AMD down 3. This is Bloom was down a couple percent, but after hours, this thing just candled back. ATH. And follow through on all-time high break with NVIDIA is what I mean. It's like this whole move is just in a weird spot at this stage. I mean, the whole market is just in a weird spot. It's sort of at a crossroads. Are we ripping it? Are we euphorically ripping it? Or was that it? Unclear. SanDisk is down a bunch today, down 6%. And then ARM is down 8%. Moving over to some of our consumer names. Anything we care about? Not really. Where's HIMS? HIMS. Down 5% to 28. It looks like, guys, look at we banked that sell. I cannot lie. I'm pretty happy with my sell. Exit on the second leg, or enter on the second leg, aggressively exit on the beginning of the third, and then if you miss out on 20%, you miss out on 20%. But you don't have to deal with this shit. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. So HIMS is down 5. Oracle down 5 on some of this OpenAI news, which we will cover a little bit today. Hood crushed, down 3, and then down another 6 after earnings, and then Snapchat, which for some reason is all over my feed. Again, is Snapchat all over your feed? Or is that just me? Is down about 2% today. Last but not least, twofold. One, the Serenity list. Not just me. Sive up a lot. Poet somehow up, but it's gonna be fun to follow. I mean, the CEO of this company owns $50,000 of the stock. Okay, it's a $1 billion stock. And the CEO owns $50,000 of it. I don't know how this could ever go up again. So we'll follow this. And then everything else on the Serenity list is kind of down bad. Light down 8. Air down 7. Applied down 6. Coherent down 6. KLA down 5. Marvell down 3. AXTI down 2. Last but not least, alts. Galaxy up a bunch. Looks good. Lighter had this crazy wick on what alts do you hold, if anything, Chaz? Is anyone 150 people here? Who's long what alts related? Tau up 3. Farcoin, nothing really to see here. Zcash on a bunch, Monad on a bunch. Chip, pretty uninspiring. Everyone's just like calling me out. The scam Altman shit is so gay. Jupiter down. Yeah, everything pretty uninspiring. Again, I'm gonna keep using that word today because I think that's the best that I got. And then we'll look at on-chain real quick because I, like a retard, bought something on-chain. I bought this garbage because I thought it was funny. And it's down a lot. Scam Altman, 5 mil. Amit was actually talking about it today, which was funny. Bernie, 15 mil, decent. I don't know. Cards, what do you even care about? Where's Quant? Cards looks fine, I guess, 20. And Asteroid, 112. And it is holding on for dear life. Boar. I'm not even going to look at that. Cards is interesting, but they are... Yeah, look at Anka, I guess. What? 5 mil, yeah. On-chain. Until further notice, I'm completely uninterested in on-chain. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I aped some shit yesterday just to see. And I also got called out pretty bad yesterday for talking shit about NFTs. And so I wanted to see what exactly was going on in NFTs. Am I... Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. But is there anything here? Floor price, 30 days. Is it really up 100%? Huh. What about, like, OpenSea volume? Like, Dune dashboard. Dune OpenSea volume. I can't believe I'm doing this. Is there anything here? Wow. Not bad. I mean, it wasn't really like it could get much worse. What is this? Monthly volume. Nah. Yeah. I mean, you look at it here and it's a complete nothing burger. Really. Yeah. I mean, what is this? Is terrible. DeFi Llama, let me look real quick. Everybody was shitting on me. NFTs are back. threadguy, you're a hater. I'm like, are you sure, guys? I'm gonna take the other side of that until the absolute last second. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Is OpenSea revenue? Cool. Got it. So I'm the problem here. Got it. Yeah. This is completely uninspiring. Anyways, that is where we are at on the markets. That's how we look today. And that is where we are at. Anyways, big news today in the oil markets. So a couple things. One, Trump tweet. Elon just informed us they are in a state of collapse. They want us to open the strait as soon as possible. This is just like so ridiculous. So they're trying to figure out the leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. It's funny they're asking the U.S. to open the strait. What is even really going on there? It's pretty funny. But the big news is the UAE has decided to exit OPEC. And if you're unaware, I mean, I was learning about it this morning, to be fair. What is OPEC? It's the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. And so it's a permanent in-governmental organization formed in the 60s that coordinates petroleum policies to stabilize oil markets and secure fair returns for its members. As of April 2026, the cartel, I like how they call it a cartel, controls a significant portion of the global oil supply, though it has faced declining influence. What percent of global oil supply does OPEC control? So it's like 30%. Okay, the OPEC Plus is like 41% of the world's global oil supply. And so the way that I've interpreted this is that it is they work together, all these oil producing countries or petroleum producing countries, to basically give limits on who can produce what and how much you can produce. So there isn't an oversupply. I mean, oil is like one of the most abundant resources in the world, right? And so they work together to coordinate on production, on pricing, on supply, and to figure out how much to sell, when to sell it, how to do it, right? And the UAE has left, which I interpreted as they will now just produce as much as possible. And short term, it's probably bearish for oil, right? Because there'll be more in supply, more in the supply chain. This is how I interpret it. Short term, it's bearish for oil. Long term, it's pretty unclear how the hierarchy of oil production evolves as a result of this. Therefore, you could probably call it bullish oil. I don't know. Uncertainty is bad for markets. Bullish oil is bad for markets, right? Bearish oil good for markets. And so it definitely, I think, like the read that I was getting reading other people's posts and their takes is that it's uncertain. People don't really know what this means, how this evolves, and how this plays out. And so you get that at the same time that, you know, oil looks like this, and it's a little bit, I don't really know. So that announcement came out today. And this guy from the UAE also said that oil market needs extraordinary measures. Let's read this. Shut up, you people talk. This is Crude Oil 231. I think the smartest oil trader on CT, or one of them. Shut up, you people talking nonsense about a chicken game. The UAE's required production for May under OPEC Plus DOC is what is KBD? Oh, like 3,500,000 barrels a day. I believe. Yet their March production was only 2,000. It's not that they wanted to increase production and couldn't. It's physically impossible to ramp up output right now because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So if the goal was simply to increase production, there's no need to leave OPEC. They are underproducing by more than 1.5 million barrels a day compared to their quota. As long as they're physically able to produce it, they can increase output enough while staying within OPEC Plus. I think they either want to join the war or just fed up with the helplessness of the cartels, especially Saudis. Saudi did nothing for the UAE while they were getting hit. Even when the UAE mentioned the possibility of entering the war, Saudis remained completely silent. If I were them, I would be furious too. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't exactly know what to make of this, other than oil market is uncertain and feels like it's increasingly going to be a problem again in this market. We're not done with this. Let's see if Roy Johnson has any takes, anything relevant here. Yeah. Should I read this Financial Times article? Let's see. Let's just skim it real quick and we can move on. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything important on the topic, but it doesn't seem to be anything major. So it doesn't seem to be anything major yet. It said on Tuesday, leaving OPEC covers almost 60 years. OPEC's third largest producer is frustrated over the quotas and tensions with Saudi. It comes as the world is grappling with the biggest energy crisis in decades, triggered by the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran and the Islamic Republic's closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The UAE, which is producing 3.4 million barrels a day, has been annoyed with the quotas for a long time. Yeah, there's nothing crazy here. Yeah. Cool. So that's where we're at. And so there was a little bit of a market sell-off today. I think there's a couple ways to look at it. So Trini had a post. And so two things happened. One, there is war drama, this OPEC thing, and just oil in general going up. And then second is this Wall Street Journal article came out about OpenAI being way off on revenue and user growth. And the reason that's a problem is that OpenAI has these massive contracts. I think $600 billion of contracts in partnership with Oracle to build out data centers for OpenAI. They're supposed to pay back in the next, like, by 2030. And so they have ridiculous CapEx commits, and they have to sort of achieve ridiculous goals to get there. And so this FUD article comes out at basically the same day after the Microsoft soft split happens with OpenAI. And everybody was panicking this dump was OpenAI, but I don't know. So treating this take, and it's pretty obvious that the sell-off today is much more about Iran than about OpenAI. And so I don't know exactly what is true here or what is not true here. But one thing that is definitely true and the case is that this is a weird market to navigate. Like, I am finding myself unsure what to do as far as positioning. I'm mostly in cash. I am clicking around a little bit on, like, I clicked in NVIDIA ATH break because it just felt like I'm a crypto trader. I just felt like the brain thing to do is to click ATH break on the biggest company in the world. And then I let it just get stopped because I was whatever. I wasn't convicted to sit in it. And then you look around on these charts, especially like the Serenity names, and these pretty like small cap. I mean, this company is what? This is a $1 billion company getting pumped up before the dump, you know, up. Let's see, let me flip this. You know, 220% here, 220% here. This is a $3 billion company. Since like April 1st, ATH, 130% here. Marvell's is bigger, $133 billion company, 140% here, 140% here, rotation, bottleneck. And so you have shillers getting a lot louder, assets that were pumping getting further and further out on the risk curve. You have this looming situation that just, I don't know, it's not going away. It feels like at some point this is going to be a problem. I don't know enough to know when it's going to be a problem, but it is going to be a problem at some point, I think. Maybe, maybe not, but it seems like increasingly, yes, this oil thing is going to be a problem. At the same time, you have these scary articles coming out about OpenAI, Wall Street Journal, that they're like way off on revenue, missing. People are panicking there. You have FOMC tomorrow. You have like one of the biggest earning days in I don't know how long tomorrow as well. Like every company has earnings tomorrow. Tomorrow we have SoFi, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, Ford, Qualcomm, Chipotle tomorrow, Apple on Thursday, MasterCard on Thursday. And I don't know, you're seeing these small caps pump and rip and get bid up to ridiculous after the big caps also made a move. And if you're sidelined, it's a weird time to get in. You know what I mean? It's a very weird time to start taking positions. And so I'm finding myself I'm a little bit frustrated. I'll be honest. I want exposure. I want to buy, but it doesn't feel right to click here. It doesn't feel right to click here, but it also doesn't feel right to be sidelined on the you know, biggest risk asset melt up of all time if it continues. And so what exactly do you do there? I don't fully know. I made 7 figs buying AXTI in January and selling a month ago. Let's look at that chart. AXTI, where am I? Wow. Yeah, this thing's a monster. You sold a month ago, huh? Nice. This thing's a monster, but it is definitely a weird spot if you are just now entering. We'll come back to markets. Let's go over OpenAI real quick. So this article comes out today that caused, I think, a lot of panic in the, you know, a little bit of a narrative violation of AI goes up only. So OpenAI misses key revenue, user targets, and high stakes sprint towards IPO. So this article comes out today from the Wall Street Journal exclusive, and it says OpenAI recently missed its own targets for new users and revenue. Now, keep in mind, these numbers are ridiculous. I think that the number is like 1 billion weekly active users is the goal. It's like something, it's like 20% of the world population. OpenAI recently missed its own targets for new users and revenue. Stumbles that have raised concern among some company leaders about whether it will be able to support massive spending on data centers. Specifically, Oracle, I think, has $600 billion committed to OpenAI for data center build-outs. CFO Sarah Fryer has told other company leaders she is worried the company might not be able to pay for future computing contracts if revenue doesn't grow fast enough, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, the problem with this is that This feels like an underwhelming headline. Like this, everybody knows this. Is that the worry is that OpenAI and these labs can't grow fast enough and can't generate revenue fast enough to be able to uphold these contracts. You didn't exactly say anything new, and so I'm not sure how warranted the panic was or the fear was on the timeline today. But regardless, it was posted. It came out. This is like what we've been talking about for a year plus. This has been the discussion for. This is the Brad Gerstner clip, right? This is. I mean, it's. It's this clip. Where's the clip? Where's the clip? Where's the clip? Come on, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. Play it, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. Like nothing's new. Damn, I can't find it. That's so sad. You know what I'm talking about, though. He asked them how, he asked Sam, how are you going to be able to commit to these massive contracts that you have? How are you going to be able to pay back these massive contracts? And Sam replies, and he's like, if you would like to buy my shares, Brad, I'm sure we could find you. If you would like to sell your shares, Brad, I'm sure we could find you a buyer, right? And it's the same. I mean, the clip's like a year old at this point, so it's nothing new. Board of directors are also more closely examined the company's data center deals in recent months and questioned CEO Sam Altman's effort to secure. Yeah, here it is. Thank you, Tulip King. God, that's why you get paid the big bucks. Thank you. There you go.
Can the company with $13 billion in revenues make 1.4 trillion of spend commitments? You know, and you've heard the criticism,
First
Sam.
of all, we're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, if you want to sell your shares, I'll find you a buyer. I just
Microsoft, eerie.
Enough. Like, people are. I think there's a lot of people who would love to buy OpenAI shares. I don't think you would,
including myself. Including myself.
So this is from. No, this is older than this one. I wonder when this. What's the timestamp on this, Tulip King, if you don't mind? So, so the questioning is efforts to secure more computing power despite the business slowdown. The spending scrutiny is constraining Altman's once boundless ambitions ahead of a potential IPO that could take place by the end of the year. This is the real problem, is that they need to secure October 2025. Yeah, it's from October 2025. It's like, it's old. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. It's over half a year. This is not a new situation. So they're buying as much compute. There's no truth to the idea there's a rift between the CFO and Altman on computing resources. The buy everything computing strategy was so OpenAI missed an internal goal of reaching 1 billion weekly active users for ChatGPT by the end of last year. According to people familiar with the goals, the company still hasn't announced that milestone, unnerving some of its investors. They also missed monthly revenue targets for earlier this year, losing ground to Anthropic in the coding and enterprise market. So this is the article, basically. Now, something to take into account is I made a tweet about this that I think is actually a pretty good fucking tweet. You have edge. I'm a firm believer. It's like, okay, you want to make money in public markets. If you're not going to be the smartest, which we're not going to be like the smartest, right? We also don't have access to a lot of proprietary data. We don't have Citadel's, HFTs, jumps, internal tooling, but you can get edge by being hyper retardedly online. I really believe that. You can be terminally online, and that's where you can get edge, right? Smartest, fastest, or cheat. So we'll just be terminally online. And so one of the things if you're terminally online is that mainstream media is just now starting to report that OpenAI is like losing to Anthropic. That's the discourse coming out now. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll probably see a lot more of it. Anthropic's winning. But what also, Luke, I'm going to let Bubble Boy into the waiting room. What if you're terminally online is that OpenAI was losing for the last 4 months, but as of like a month ago or 3 weeks ago, OpenAI was losing to Anthropic, but Anthropic Claude is bricked, and 5.5 is in the lead again. And so it isn't, Tulip King had this take, it isn't that people are using AI less. is that people are just flip-flopping what they're using. The tokens are still getting spent. People are still spending the tokens. They were just spending them on Claude for a while, and now they're going to come back and spend it on OpenAI for a while. And we're just going to go back and forth. And the value and demand for tokens, I think, it just will continue to go up only. So if they can hit these ridiculous revenue numbers is relatively unclear how that's going to play out. But if you're terminally online, you know that the OpenAI is the sauce again. They just do. OpenAI's got the sauce again. It's come back. And I don't find myself that worried that these companies aren't going to be able to make money. I don't know. This isn't the bubble pop fear to me so much. And so Oracle, which I was trying to make a case why this would be an interesting trade, is they have, they've invested like $1 trillion to build out data centers for OpenAI. And DNAP was like, hey, retard. All they're doing is buying NVIDIA chips, just long NVIDIA. I drew this chart on the morning call, if you couldn't tell. It's off, how much to ATH? It could, 2x off ATH. But they basically have all these contracts to build these data centers for OpenAI. And they came out and made a statement. It's down 4 or 5% today. And I think the reason it's not down more is that these projections are so long dated that it's a shot. It's like not a Hail Mary, but it's a long shot anyways. And so it doesn't probably swing as much on local intraday moves. Amit is long Oracle, I think. Amit likes Oracle. We talked about it on our stream. So they came out and they made an announcement and said, we're incredibly excited about the partnership with OpenAI and remain focused on building and delivering the capacity they need to support rapidly growing demand. We're seeing firsthand how quickly adoption of their technology is accelerating, driven by the strength of their latest models. OpenAI's new 5.5 model is a significant step forward, and we expect continued momentum as access to their technology expands across cloud providers. Together, we're enabling customers to bring powerful AI capabilities into production at scale. Luke, I'll be on time. And so I don't think the fear for AI CapEx and subscriptions and revenue is OpenAI losing to Claude or Claude losing to OpenAI or people not wanting to use tokens. People want to fucking consume tokens. I think a dark horse fear is that the gap between the US and China models like disappears, and then you could use Quen or Kimi or Baba at like 1/10 the cost. That is the actual scare, I think. As long as the US models are better, have some lead, people will pay exponentially more money for bleeding edge. You just will. Even at incremental lead, you'll pay a fucking asymmetrically large amount. You will. You'll pay a lot for that. But if it gets even, that's the only actual scare, I think, is if it gets even, it's scary. And so as long as that doesn't happen, then it is what it is. But for now, that's where we're at. Yeah, 140 IQ is worth so much more than 135 IQ. And so, or the LLMs don't get us where they need to be, an entirely new architecture takes longer. This is also a good point, is like, part of the reason they bricked Claude is how much compute they were subsidizing, which you just can't do forever. And it does feel like that era is basically over. It's like the Uber era. I wasn't really around for the Uber era. I was too young to get in an Uber when they were giving out $5 rides or whatever. But we've kind of gotten to a similar spot with what these models will give you regarding tokens. But chat, who was around for, when did Uber like launch? When did Uber launch? I was like too young to get in an Uber. Yeah, 2009. I was 7. My mom was not letting me get in an Uber. But I feel like that's what the Opus era was. And it's now, this is why they nuked OpenClaw, brother. It was like too expensive. They were getting destroyed. So the other argument is that OpenAI, if you look at this business, you're going to be disappointed. This is the greatest stock promotion of all time, made better because you can't even buy shares today. $1 trillion in AI capex so far, and revenue has ramped to maybe $3 billion a month. A good portion of that is just round tripping too. Net of electricity, there's almost zero margin, and then there's a depreciation line. It's all a flaming clone car. Flaming clone car. What does that mean? Flaming clone car. Flaming clone car. I've never heard somebody say that before. Oh. He just spelled it wrong? Clown car. He spelled it wrong. Got it. I thought it was some like unique, some like SV jargon. But revenues grow so fast and the memes do get better over time. So I guess we have to fixate forever on AI. I still can't get my mind around how silly all this is, but it probably continues to the IPO. Then we can all laugh at it burning down. Other side of the other side, bull side, is those selling the stock after reading the Wall Street Journal article on OpenAI fall into two categories. One, those who have been looking for an excuse to sell and are using this as an opportunity. And two, those who are dumb enough to follow the mood. Why do you think Sam Altman declared code red last year? Obviously, it was because they were falling short of their targets. If turning something everyone already knew into a sensational story counts as a skill, then I guess that is a skill. And so this is basically where we're at on the OpenAI Oracle revenue story. Is, I don't think people realize the ramifications of OpenAI's revenue growth slowing. Oracle is building about $350 billion in data centers and needs OpenAI to pay it $75 billion a year in revenue to keep up with the costs. Ellison has bet everything on this. And so that's where it leaves us. People are very opinionated on this on both sides. I just think, I don't know. This is what I'll tell you. I'll tell you this. Personal anecdote is I finally said, fuck it. Let me get my OpenClaw back up. I didn't cancel my Claw subscription, but I renewed OpenAI, bought the biggest plan, plugged in 5.5, and I feel like I got my child back. I seriously feel like I have my child back. I didn't realize how important OpenClaw was, even the little incremental stuff that it does, until I lost it. And now that it is back, I feel like a part of me is back. It's good. I don't know. I have an interview in 7 minutes, and I want to learn a couple questions about him. I want to deep dive some of his tweets, but he tweets 40,000 times a month. OpenClaw, go figure some shit out. It's very simple. It's very simple. Some of the stuff it can do. To explain to me why the OPEC situation matters. Okay, here you go. What's the trade on it? Okay, here you go. It might not always be right, and it might give you the smooth brain cattle take for the most part, but that's generally all you really need. And so the other thing that's happening right now that we will close on is the lawsuit has begun between Elon Musk and Sam Altman in Oakland, California. It is closed court. There is no cameras. There's no live stream. I don't think anybody really knows what exactly is going on behind closed doors there. But Elon Musk is suing OpenAI. Apewood, thank you for the gifted. Thanks for the 10 gifted. Shout out to Apewood. Elon is suing OpenAI, led by Sam Altman, and its backer Microsoft for $150 billion. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of fucking money. Alleging the AI firm abandoned its nonprofit mission. Jury selection for the California trial is complete. And so this doesn't have a lot of volume, but it does have about a 45% chance that Elon will win his case against Sam. This is, I don't exactly know what the implications of this happening this way are. If OpenAI loses, what happens? I don't entirely know, but this is going to be, as you know, a crazy one to follow. So here's a quick back and forth from what, 20, this is old. When's this from? 23 maybe earlier. Apewood, welcome back, man. Sam Altman to Elon. I remember seeing you in a TV interview a long time ago, maybe 60 Minutes, where you're being attacked by some guys and you said they were heroes of yours. It was really tough. This is this space, the astronaut, what's his name? Bud Aldrin, I think. Well, you're my hero, and that's what it feels like when you attack OpenAI. Totally get we have Buzz. What did I call him? Buzz. What did I call him? Yeah, Buzz. Well, you're my hero, and that's what it feels like when you attack OpenAI. Totally get we have screwed some stuff up, but we have worked incredibly hard to do the right thing, and I think we have ensured that neither Google nor anyone else is on a path to have unilateral control over AGI, which I believe we both think is critical. I am tremendously thankful for everything you've done to help. I don't think OpenAI would have happened without you, and it really fucking hurt when you publicly attack OpenAI. He replies, Elon Musk, in all of his aura, with respect, and says, I hear you, and it is certainly not my intention to be hurtful, for which I apologize, but the fate of civilization is at stake. End thread. Crazy. Just cold. Just honest, real. And let's play the one clip. Where's the clip? Let me find the clip. Elon, Sam Altman interview. Please. Yes. We'll play this, then we'll do Bubble Boy.
It seems to be going pretty well. I think we've got a really talented group at OpenAI, and yeah, really talented team, and they're working hard. OpenAI is structured as a 501c3 nonprofit, but many nonprofits do not have a sense of urgency. It's fine; they don't have to have a sense of urgency, but OpenAI does. Because I think people really believe in the mission. I think it's important.
This is what the entire beef is over, by the way. This right here. This is the entire.
Hope I don't regret asking this on camera, but how do you think OpenAI is going as a 6-month-old company?
It seems to be going pretty well. I think we've got a really talented group at OpenAI, and yeah, really talented team, and they're working hard. OpenAI is structured as a 501c3 nonprofit, but many nonprofits do not have a sense of urgency. It's fine; they don't have to have a sense of urgency, but OpenAI does. Because I think people really believe in the mission. I think it's important, and it's about minimizing the risk of existential harm.
Crazy. So, all right, we have an interview, and you guys know I only do interviews in 2026 if I think that they are worth your fucking time. I would not waste your time with an interview. We have Bubble Boy coming on. He is under the category of what I think some of the best traders in the world are Anons with Anon PFPs on Twitter that have more alpha than some of the biggest funds, some of the smartest traders in the world. They're some of the best, the PP Poopers of the world, the Bubble Boys of the world, the Crude Oil 231s of the world. This guy's one of the best, okay? I think he was the singular most publicly bullish Intel bull on this app, okay? Like the most bullish since, I don't know, February 25, he started posting about $20, $30. He self-proclaimed is, make sure when you leave chat, can't hear us. Yeah, you're good. He is self-proclaimed post-economic and is one of my favorite accounts on this app. I think he's just one of the best accounts on this app. He tweets all day. He's fucking degenerate, but he's sharp. He is alpha, and he is kind of the epitome of you could be a retail trader, you could find an edge in the markets, and you can win. If you're hyper-terminally online, this is all you do. And so I think for a lot of the narratives we cover, a lot of things that we talk about, he's the embodiment of it. It's one I've wanted to have on for a while, but I couldn't really find the moment. And I did find it. And it was right now after Intel earnings. They fucking crushed. And Bubble Boy's coming on. And so as it relates to the AI trade, feeling late to it, bottlenecks, not knowing what to buy, not knowing how to trade it, not knowing how to navigate this market, and then also the general state, memetics, attention, narrative, flows, all the ways that we trade, all the things we like to talk about. I think he's one of the best. So I'm fucking excited. If you are just tuning in from Bubble Boy tweet or retweet, I only read the chat on twitch.tv/threadguy. That's for YouTube guys and for Twitter guys, whatever. Twitch.tv/threadguy. If you have questions, if you have anything you want me to ask, pop in. We'll gift you a sub. And feel free to ask away. It's the only place I'll see it. And this is one that I think is, yeah, I don't think we could have a more relevant guest on right now. So I don't really know what to expect. He just went on TBPN. I missed it. He was on for like 10 minutes. I don't think they gave him the convo we're going to get with him. So I'm a little bit, yeah, let's get it. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I am getting off for a second. And when I come back, we'll have Bubble Boy on. BRB. Can't do music because he's talking in the Zoom. Sounds good too. BRB. All right. Let's get it. Honestly, I don't know much about this guy. I really don't. I don't know much about him. I don't know much about him, but I am excited to have him on. So we got Bubble Boy coming on right now. And let us fucking get it. I don't know much about him. I really don't. I also have never heard him talk. One more time, if you're watching YouTube, Twitter, you want to talk to it, chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. And let's get it, man. We got the Bubble Boy coming on. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo.
Mr. Bubble Boy. Welcome, welcome to the stream, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, dude. I appreciate you coming on. Congrats on the TVPN feature as well. You're on a little bit of a media tour right now, huh?
Yes. I'm doing the runs. When you get a trophy, you gotta milk it while you can.
You gotta, dude. What does Bubble Boy mean? Where does that come from?
So I've told the story a couple times, but maybe not publicly. I've been kind of trading on and off since I want to say 2016, right? And I was in college at the time. There was a time where I think it was Silicon Valley Bank was failing. And I had like my little portfolio or whatever. And I was working this job. I'm not going to say where, but it was in the financial space. And by the way, I should mention, I'm a hardware engineer, electrical engineer, education.
So right? you have a job, like you work.
Yes. Okay. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'm overemployed.
Okay.
I work hard, but more or less, the long story short is I like threw up at work and I was like, no, this is over. Like I'm gonna lose everything. And then I made like a trade that just ended up working out amazingly well. And I told my coworkers and they called me Bubble Boy. So
wait, like, what was the trade?
Right. Oh, it's technical, but it had to do with interest rates. So in derivatives, the most liquid like future on earth is this thing that used to be called Eurodollar, but it's now called the secured overnight financing rate.
Okay.
It kind of sets the interest rates for most of the world. And that day, because a bank was failing, people were like, interest rates are gonna go down, right? But it was the biggest move in interest rates at the beginning of the day, and then towards the end of the day, it was like double what even that, right?
Whoa.
So I ended up being kind of lucky, and I was like, ever since then, I was like, yeah, this is a funny name to have, and everyone kind of gave me credit. They were like, okay, well, you definitely called that one right.
Whoa. Give me wait, what do you do at I guess you maybe can't share that much, but what do you do as an electrical engineer? Like what does that even mean? A hardware engineer.
Yeah. So my the way I would describe it is like chip design. I write this thing called RTL. It's register transfer logic, but it basically defines how the chip works, like the architecture. Okay. Yeah, so I'm very much like in the chip space. And I kind of mentioned this earlier, but someone asked me, they were like, well, why don't you just, quit whatever you're doing and just do this, right? But I started realizing, I was like, if I wasn't like in the technical, like caves and the mines, like trying to solve problems and seeing people struggle, I probably wouldn't have as much alpha, right? Like, I don't think I could have called Intel if I didn't really understand early on their advantages, their technical advantages there, right? And really, I would say, like, even though I might have worked at a financial company at one point, I mean, I was doing like coding and chip design for them, right? So I'm not really a finance person, I don't really like know how to read an earnings. I mean, I can, but I wouldn't do it better than, real finance professionals. I'm more of a technologist and I just bet on technologies. So
word. Okay, so you really understand the intricacies of how these chips work and like the tech side of the AI trade in general.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah.
How many of these people, especially the finance, KOLs or like Schiller guys on Twitter, like you tweeted this a bunch of times. There's like 100 people in the world that understand the the chip trade, or no one understands how computers work. Like how well understood relative to how many people are talking about these stocks and these names are, like, is the AI trade, is the chip trade?
So is the question, how well understood would it be on the like institutional finance side, or more so just generally how well understood is it?
I think generally how well understood is it, especially by the retail trading side that's piling into these names.
The retail, I would put it as 50-50. I think where retail really gets burnt is when they try to go into stuff that like even I don't understand quite right. Like when we have to start like talking to PhDs in electrical engineering to really understand the differances, like that's a bit too far, right? So I think there's a couple people, but I mean, I'll name drop a rational analyst who I think is really good and called a lot of things early. But I've met a rational analyst, and a rational analyst is really good in photonics. He's actually an expert in that field, right? But I don't think, telling a retail trader, hey guys, you need to get in on like Lumentum. I mean, they would have done fine, right? But there's so many of these niche companies in the supply chain. I'm just like, you cannot actually, in confidence, know which one's going to win or lose. But honestly, maybe you don't need to, right? Like maybe you don't need to pick a winner in a sector. You just go along the sector, right? So I don't know if that answers the question, but
I was curious.
I think it depends, right? So I would say mostly retail, probably not, but there are a few people who I would say are retail, but to call them retail is a joke. These are very educated, talented people, right?
Beautiful. And I want to talk about the Intel trade. Obviously, we'll start there, then we'll go backwards. I was going through your Twitter, which, by the way, I thought I tweet a lot, man. It took me like 45 minutes to get to April 10th or something. But you kept, I think one of your, I don't want to call it your first Intel tweet because I don't know when that actually was, but you kept referencing a Gigabull post from like February 25, where you were talking, it was like the dancing video about, when Intel hits $100 or something like this. What from your work history and prior knowledge, using that and whatever else you know or studied or learned, like how were you able to identify Intel as the trade back then?
Okay, so there's a couple of points and I'll go through them quickly. One of them was Intel was a turnaround story. They took on a lot of debt to expand their fabs. And they basically telegraphed to the market, they said, hey, free cash flow for this year and maybe next year is not good, like it's negative, right? And what you need to understand, and what I'm learning by talking to more finance guys, is that's actually all they care about. Free cash flow and margins is like the only reason I actually want to own a company. So what I saw was a distressed company, but it's investing, right? So I actually like that, counterintuitively to many other people. If I see someone's actually investing in the right technology and the roadmap, again, they have to execute. But that's actually a way better use of your capital than just returning money to shareholders to do nothing with it. So there's partly that, right? Secondly, when I was looking at Intel and really what Intel's big bet was adopting high NA. Now there's a lot of controversy of is that good or not? But basically, high NA is I would say a pretty big game changer when it comes to like making chips, right?
Yes.
You're getting way better resolution. You're making smaller transistors, right? The questions on high NA were never about technology. That was never the question. Everyone knows the physics is very basic, right? High school physics, we all know this makes smaller pattern. The question was, is this profitable? Are the margins good, right? So TSMC famously didn't adopt it, and they actually are just telegraphing they're not adopting it until 2030. I think Intel's early adoption of that, and I knew somewhat of the intricacies of how hard that is to adopt that. It's not just a simple plug and play thing. That to me was like, okay, well, if there's a 50% chance Intel gets this working, let's say F it, like 20%, right? They have a technological edge. So I was pretty bullish on that. But now I think the Intel story, like they've actually executed very well there, by the way, I would say. their yields on 18A are great, are much better than they were originally. And I think 14A now is just 14A is kind of like what comes after this current generation of chips. And 14A is looking like a leapfrog of TSMC.
So you are obviously have a much deeper understanding of like how these chips work than I do, but at a high level, the public sentiment on Twitter is that it feels to me the public sentiment on Twitter is TSMC dominance, and is not the case that most people think Intel is ahead the way that you do.
Right. And I wouldn't just say Twitter. I actually talk to like hedge funds and institutions, and they feel the exact same way. It's a very easy narrative to latch on. You know, TSMC is this big brand, Taiwan, it's a champion. But I think what people aren't understanding is TSMC has a very conservative culture when it comes to leading the leading edge. They don't, basically, right? They're very careful with how much money they spend because semiconductors are capital intensive. It's a capital intensive business. What I saw was Intel was having a strategy that said, okay, I'm actually going to burn all this money to use that weakness against them. And I thought of it as a nice strategy and a nice strategic thing. And as far as like right now, and I think this is more of a recent thing because we could talk about the earnings.
Okay.
Node quality or like node density is one thing, but increasingly semis isn't driven by nodes at all. It's actually being driven by packaging. And this is a case where I've really been hammering that TSMC is not investing at all, and they're really behind the 8 ball on packaging. And this is why Intel is going to win. It's not necessarily the transistors being smaller on Intel's node. It's that they actually just have this packaging solution no one has, and it's world-class better. And this is a big reason why NVIDIA invested with them.
So in layman's terms, for the chat, not for me, but for everybody else, that is an expert on Intel chip packaging, give me the Intel packaging thesis and why that matters, how it improves margins, like what it does for the business, and what TSMC can't do.
Well, think of it like, why are we doing packaging for a customer? If you look at like an H100, that is as big as a chip could go. On normal technology, that's as big as you can go. It's about 800 millimeters squared.
Okay.
When we went to B200s, well, what do? Like, you can't shrink the node. Well, how does Jensen deliver 50% performance year over year? Moore's law doesn't work that way, you know? So what did they do? They got one die, right? 800 millimeters squared. They got another, and they started stitching them together, right? They started having little communication between them. And many chip companies have been trying to do this. No one's done it quite like NVIDIA, where it's a whole mega sized chip. They would use a smaller chip. This is AMD's strategy. So that's packaging. And when you think about it, you just took one chip and you're adding another, and now they look like one chip. You just have more area to do stuff, right? So packaging is huge. And actually, packaging is actually the only way NVIDIA actually on their roadmap is driving performance. Now, here's the problem. The way TSMC is packaging things is they're using a very well-researched thing where you kind of put like they call it an interposer, but you kind of think of it as like a plate below the two dies. Intel is very different. Intel will use a little ribbon to connect them. And that sounds like a small difference, but it's a world of a difference. Because one, imagine if your plate cracks. Imagine if any of the lines that go through the plate are messed up. Goodbye, chip. Start over, right? You need to rip it out and redo it. Now imagine if a ribbon is kind of not doing well. Well, that's actually an easier thing to fix. And also, the ribbon's going to take less area, so you can actually package things denser. Packaging is, different compute dies, but also HBM, other kinds of, technology, like people will mix networking, IO, photonics would actually have to be packaged because photonics would go on a different node than what compute goes on. They're different kind of classes of technology. So given all that, if you look at NVIDIA's roadmap, they want to go from 2 dies to 4, and they couldn't pull it off with Vera Rubin. Now Feynman wants to do 4 and wants to go to 8. And then they want to do even more HBM. So the stack of HBMs, I actually don't have the number off the top of my head, but let's just say 16 or 18 stacks. They want to go to like 24 or more. And this is just more heat. It's more stuff for things to go wrong. And Intel is really the only people who are investing in a solution for this. Rumors have come out already that Feynman will be using this Intel EMIB. EMIB is the name, by the way, for their packaging. Okay. This packaging technology for their Feynman series of GPUs. Now, when that note was released, they said, hey, like Intel is just packaging it, but TSMC still gets a bit of the packaging, right? Okay, maybe that's believable, but do you think Jensen bought 5% of that company for no reason? You think if he's using that technology on Feynman, he's not like looking at it for the real thing, like making it integral to their manufacturing? So that's really where I think now the Intel thesis is like, yes, the yields are good on 18A, 14A looks really good so far, but packaging is where like this is screaming at you in the face. This is obvious. I don't know how to say it in other words, right? Like this is as obvious as it gets on the packaging side.
How much can packaging growth like grow Intel's revenue? Like how much of an impact can this have on the stock?
Great question. So I'll say revenue. Let's just look only at Feynman to make it simple.
Cool.
If you just believe the rumor that came out that Intel is going to package Feynman, TSMC packages the compute dies, Intel's going to package IO dies and maybe other things like HBM. When I do the math, that's an extra 4.8 billion in revenue for that year. Just this quarter, they said they had 1 billion. It's not even recognized, 1 billion backlog, meaning they have 1 billion in orders for packaging. No one talked about this. I saw everyone tweeting, yo, it's a CPU shortage, there's a CPU shortage. I'm like, whoa, do you not see this business line coming out of nowhere growing? And they're not even recognizing that as revenue because it's not yet, it's order, right? You didn't fulfill it yet. But they have 1 billion for this quarter. My guess is, okay, just imagine Feynman's 4.8 billion. Think of TPU, think of any kind of ASICs that Broadcom are doing. Think of any kind of customer who can't go on TSMC because TSMC is booked. Yes. You got no option. I would say, like, if you imagine just Intel gets the Feynman complete order, or they get the next generation, right? That's $48 to $60 billion in revenue just on packaging.
It's a big number.
On one GPU, on one product line. It's a big product line. Now imagine TPU. Imagine anything Broadcom is doing for their customers. Packaging could probably be a $100 billion business alone.
That's a fucking big number. Can you explain to me your trading style? Like when you DD Intel, you find an opportunity here in, I think, early 2025. Do you just gas it? Like, what is your trading style? How did you enter this trade? How did you size it? How did you think about it relative to the rest of your portfolio?
So if you know the like if I told you what was going to happen like next year, how would you size it? Like if I told you like Intel's revenue next year, you would just buy a bunch of stock, right? Just hold it, right? So that's basically what I did. I'd buy a bunch of stock, hold it. And when I saw like any kind of catalyst, that's where you leverage it up. That's where you might do options. But yeah, no, I mean, really Intel for a long time, I think almost all of 20, was it 20? What even year are we in? I'm confused. 25, yeah. All of 25, Intel was like 80% of everything I had.
80?
80% of any money I had, like in my life, was in Intel stock.
Oh, not just your portfolio, but like your all.
No, in my life, like we go 401k, we go savings, anything. And in my trading account, maybe like I was leveraged on Intel. So if you have like a certain amount of money, like a broker will give you what's called portfolio margin, but just any kind of margin, you can 2x your capital, right? If you have 100K, you can use 200K. So you could imagine that's how confident I was. Now, that's not everybody, but I think when it comes to Intel, and also when you make profits, right, you need to like actually take some profits as you're going, because like if Intel goes up, like let's say you have call options, they go up 200, 300% in a day, like that's just huge P&L swing. And you're better off locking it in than just being like, oh, it's going to keep going. Like the math of like option derivatives work in that way, right? So I guess maybe the answer would be, if I'm extremely confident, I would start buying stocks slowly over like, time. If I'm not as confident, take a position, wait. When I see any kind of catalyst, that's where I would play with options.
Okay, so you talk about you have to actually realize profit. What percent of your Intel bag have you actually realized?
I've almost realized anything with options. So like,
got it.
The options are like, the profits on the options are probably the size of the position, right? So like, yeah, it's so you could technically say 100%, but like, I could give you an example on this earnings, right?
Okay, go.
I've had, like 40, 50% in stock. The 20% I had maybe in options, that went up 3 times the value of the stock, right? So anything in this like expiration kind of stuff, like just cut it, take it. If the stock runs up, like on SanDisk, it's another company, right? But if it ran up a lot and I'm like, hey, I actually want to keep holding this, you could just hedge, keep a floor, buy puts that you think are pretty like cheaply priced, just hold on to it, right? Like my point here is like, if you see a trend or you see something that no one's seen and you're getting like incremental signal that, oh, people are waking up, you got to go for it.
Okay, tell me this. One of my favorite crypto traders of all time is this guy Jez, and he has this quote. He talks about the art of the full port, and he has this quote called "Why would you ever put money behind your second best idea?" And I mean, I love it. I love that shit. How many times have you done this where you've been north of, I don't know, 50 to 75% of your net worth in one asset, and how many times out of that have you been right?
I think I've done it so far. I can't think of my whole life, but just this year, 3 times. Just this year, 3 times, right? But again,
on what? SanDisk was one.
SanDisk at the beginning of the year, when Iran happened, was very, very full port, long oil, fertilizer, gas, the whole thing, right? And then of course, Intel into these earnings, I was very confident. But that being said, like, yeah, I kind of agree with that to an extent. Like your biggest, most confident thing should be like most of your returns. I only diversify when I don't know, when I'm scared, like when I don't know what's going to happen, when I'm unsure, right? And also, if I'm going full port, there's a reason. Like there has to be a catalyst, right? So think of it as also returns over time. When Iran situation first, fired off, yeah, I might be up 300% on SanDisk, but is SanDisk going to go up 300% in the next month or so? So lock in the gains, go into this. There's more returns to happen in this short time in this asset class than there are in what you're holding, right? So I think of it as almost time weighted, right?
So I don't know if you can see, it's a Phillips 66 American crude barrel back there. I also took the oil trade. It wasn't a full port. I understand that was a unique situation, but as it relates to SanDisk, as it relates to Intel, and as it relates to prior trades, broad question, but like, what does your DD process look like? Like, what do you need and what do you do to convince yourself that this is going to be a north of 50% portfolio allocation? I'm going to go all in. I'm going to tweet about it. I'm going to get excited about it. I'm going to tell everybody about it. Like, how do you mentally get there in the DD process?
So I will never DD just a company. Like, I'm actually not big on like, pick the best company. I mean, Intel's like kind of a rare example, but even Intel, I'm really long on it because of a technology, right? So I ask myself, what technologies are out there that are interesting that can help scale things? What is kind of obvious? What's my view on that? My view might be like, packaging is very important. My view might be flash is very important. My view could be like, this reticle size die stuff is like kind of cringe. It's stupid. It's not going to do well. Maybe wafer scale is better. Like, however I see a technology, I try to research and understand the technology. I'm not really into like, let's find the best company on these earnings and this. Nah, I don't care about that. Then once I feel like I'm very confident in this technology, then I'm like, what are all the names in the space?
Got it.
What are all the names in the space, and which ones do I think are going to benefit the most if this technology takes off? That's on the tech side. If you're trading, like the Iran thing was a trade. Like I was not planning on just holding oil. Like this is more of like, what would be the impact if this happens? If the impact is I'm bankrupt, like I have to get ahead of it and plan for that, right? I think Iran, I didn't play it as good as I should have, but it's flaring up right now still, right? So there's better ways to play that.
It is. It was also, to be fair, oil was a tough expression of long Iran war after the first week or two. It just started.
It very much was.
You started to get your PvPing Besant. Last Intel question, and then I have some fun stuff to talk about, is price target. Intel price target.
Intel's cheaper than AMD, which is crazy. It's crazy. Like that shouldn't happen. Like it's cheaper than AMD. Like it's Global Foundries, which is a no-name fab, like has a better multiple than Intel to this day. Intel should be $1 trillion company, minimum 600 billion by the end of the year market cap. So that would put you at like what, like 100, 150 a share. I think 200 a share is about $1 trillion. So I mean, again, it's not going to happen overnight. They have to deliver. So the next earnings matter, but it should be at least 600 billion today, market cap, minimum.
Word. Thank you. To talk about some of the general stuff, the market has gotten pretty crazy. I mean, fuck, I've spent the last 4 years only paying attention to crypto, and so I'm coming to this AI trade a little bit late here. But I have I mean, the state of the feed, Twitter, over the last couple of weeks, I have a good Alexander tweet, I'll read it. My entire feed is like, quote, the CEO of Starbucks just quit and is joining OpenAI to serve coffee. Here are the 4 microcap South Korean companies I'm buying on IKBR to escape the permanent underclass. Like the entire feed now is this bottleneck, this AI bottleneck, photonics, this, that. Yeah. Microcap. Here's a 10 billion, 5 billion, 1 billion, $500 million, $100 million company.
Yeah.
Let's see how far out we can go before everybody dies. I guess first, before I ask like what the bottlenecks are, what do you think is the state of this AI trade where we are right now in the cycle? How much higher can this stuff go? How many sectors are left to pump? Are you afraid of the microcap shilling that's going on?
Be careful of the microcap shilling. I would say that to anyone. Yeah, like microcaps are a whole different game, and yeah, that's not how I would play it. If you're gonna in investing, there's an idea of like portfolio construction, right? So it's like if you think something's gonna go up like 1,000%, but it could also like be volatile, you actually don't need to put like all your money in that, because if 1% is gonna go up like 1,000%, you're fine either way, right? Like you're gonna make 10x your money, right? So one, be careful with microcaps unless you are an expert in some kind of technology field and you can evaluate their IP and their strategy better than people on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, then don't listen to my advice. I would say as far as I see like AI bottlenecks, I mean, I made a joke about this yesterday, but there isn't really much of a bottleneck, really. The only bottleneck is possibly TSMC and Intel, like fab capacity, because those guys, I did a lot of work in like trying to figure this out, but like you could think of like TSMC and really TSMC at this point, we'll just say them, as like this warlord who kind of sets the price for everybody else. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to do AI compute, you need AI logic nodes, right? You need logic nodes. If you have AI logic nodes, you need HBM. If you have HBM, you need advanced packaging. If you have advanced packaging, you're going to need these special PCBs, So TSMC is kind of like this warlord that just controls the whole semiconductor economy right now. And whatever they decide flows through to everybody else. You don't need HBM if you don't have logic capacity. There's no point. So that's how I kind of think of it. And I really don't think there's any kind of crazy bottleneck. I mean, there isn't a few places, but they were priced accordingly. if there really was a bottleneck, NVIDIA would have bought them or bribed them to expand their capacity. If there really was a huge bottleneck, right? A lot of this stuff is speculative, right? So I think where it's most well known is like in photonics, where people are like, okay, well, you need a really high quality laser for photonics. Well, look at this little microcap who makes this pretty decent laser. Maybe they're going to get used by NVIDIA. It's like, maybe, but like, maybe not, you know?
Yeah, what's the take on photonics in general? I mean, this is every day. There's 5 new tickers on my feed. This photon, this is the one, this is the one. What, can you explain photonics as a, as a vertical broadly? Like,
I am the wrong person. I actually was going to go to school, grad school for photonics. And I said, no, that stuff doesn't scale. I was like, that stuff is cooked. Yeah, so I was at the Intel Museum like last week, and they had little photonic stuff that they did back in 2010.
Whoa.
Right? And didn't hit the market, you know? And I'm like, it didn't hit the market because it didn't work. Like, it's not because Intel didn't want to bring it to the market. Intel's been investing in photonics for a long time, and they still are. Photonics is scary. I mean, like, the reason why photonics has exploded is literally NVIDIA is making a networking switch that has co-packaged optics, right? Co-packaged means the lasers and all the optical stuff is next to the die. It's next to the compute. It's not like if you might have like looked in a data center that had those like plugs, right? It's not a plug, you know, it's in there. It's in the package. Let's see if they get it to work. I mean, I don't know. Like I really don't know. My guess is, yeah, maybe like 40-50% chance they get it to work, but I don't want to like full port anything, right? But and here's the thing, because I talked to someone who was more confident on this than me, and they have more expertise. Well, even if they don't get it to work, I mean, all the people who supply lasers and fibers, and even here's the thing, photonics needs coolers. People don't know this. Photonics needs special coolers because if the temperature goes off even by a little bit, the thing doesn't work. So imagine like your computer will stop working if it gets too hot, but like it's like 103 degrees C, right? Photonics is very sensitive to temperature.
Wait, so what's
he said like for the cooling company?
Yeah.
It might be called Fabrinet. Let me see.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already run up Fabrinet Tech. They're called thermoelectric coolers.
Here it is, FN.
It might be thermoelectric. Yeah, but if you just like talk to Claude or GPT and say what companies make thermoelectric coolers, like they'll give you a few.
Hey, what do you think about this? By the way, this there's this concept. It's called, as I've heard it, it's called hallucination yield, which is basically the delta between the price an asset trades at and then what ChatGPT thinks it should trade at. And then I guess more specifically, news drops, announcement comes out, or narrative is hot, and then everybody runs to Claude, to Gemini, to GPT, and says, what do I slam? And they all get told the same thing. Momentum comes in, attention piles in, narrative picks up, thing pumps. Like, what do you think of everybody using the same AI to trade the same stuff?
It's been happening for a long time. I don't think it's anything new. I think every big trading firm has their own little news. Like, hey, some news breaks out. What do I trade? You know, like we're talking. They're doing it in like milliseconds, right? So, as far as like how does it work for like the general retail person? I mean, it probably does kind of make the move stronger in whatever direction the AI says. But I've been saying this a long time. AI is only going to answer the questions you know how to ask, right?
I saw you tweet this today. It's a good tweet.
Yeah, it's only going to answer what you know how to ask. So if you don't know what to ask, you're not going to get a good reality, right? So like, yeah, people don't know about thermoelectric coolers, so they don't even know to ask that. Like, so I would say, like, if you're going to be using AI, like for investment research, you still need to do research. The AI is just making you do it faster. So instead of saying what, like, photonics companies should I buy right now because of this news, you should be like, teach me photonics. What is it? What can I like? then like what are all the pieces? And then you might build some like fluency in that discipline.
I'm not trying to stir the pot, I swear, but I want to ask you directly on this low cap stuff. What do you think of the Serenity account?
I think Serenity is probably pumping and dumping a lot of stocks. Definitely.
How
like
does
I can't say anything else. Yeah, it's definitely pump and dump. I mean, I think it's a she. People tell me it's a he,
yeah,
but
it's probably a he,
I like
right?
saying she because it looks like a girl. But she, yeah, I mean, she did call like some interesting companies. So like, I mean, I call Intel. Like, it doesn't mean everything I say is right, you know. But when you're posting a sub 100 million, sometimes sub 80 million company, and you already own 1% of the company, because that's possible at those scales, right? 1% of 80 million is $8 million. Like, you can borrow and leverage it, right? So like, I don't know. I mean, I would just say be careful. Like you come from the crypto side, right? So like a lot of people had like WhatsApp groups and Signal groups where they're like, yo, this is the next big thing. It's like your exit liquidity, bro. Like that's what you are. So take everything with a grain of salt that you read. I am purposely trying to muddy the waters and make it so people can't understand what reality is anymore by giving
Dude, what the
like
fuck was your
investment
tweet
recommend.
yesterday? Yes,
Yeah.
Was that this morning or last night? What was that?
I mean, that was just me basically meaning like about what all these other people are doing, saying, oh, there's this new bottleneck. It's like, yeah, but that was all completely false, but people ate it up, right? Like there was a kernel of truth, but I definitely spread it, right? So in my eyes, it's like I'm just trying to teach people a lesson here. Like you gotta be careful. Like don't like trust me, guys. Like for everyone who's listening, this AI trade's gonna go on for at least 3 years. There's enough money to be made. Like everyone will make money. Just you don't need to full port everything. Like just stay in the game. It's about surviving. It's not about like if we're on a rocket ship, just don't like jump off. Don't like jump off and be like, oh, I'm gonna get at the top of the rocket ship. I I don't want to just do like, like coke. I want to do crack. I want to do the craziest thing I could do. It's like everything within reason. Be moderate.
So to ask that follow up on that directly is like, okay, I mean, I'm kind of in this spot. I think a lot of people that watch are in the spot where had a really good trading year, all things considered. But I mean, this AI, like I got pretty bearish. I was long oil, which naturally got me pretty bearish on equities markets broadly. And I mean, it was sort of the ultimate trap. Like tip your cap to the market makers, right? Just enough to shake everybody out and make you think he's gonna, nuke Karg Island and then rip that thing back after like 8 months of consolidation to a V-shaped ATH. And so I think there's a lot of people that actually have done pretty well, but you have a lot of cash, you're stuck on the sideline, and you're watching these semis, these photonics, these AI moves go parabolic. And how do you approach entering the market here? How do you evaluate names? You said it's going to go on for at least 3 years. Like, how would you approach entering here, figuring out what to buy, when to buy it, how to buy it?
Ask yourself which companies are actually adding value. Like, which companies are actually going to lower the cost per token? Which companies are innovating? Now, do these companies have any kind of competitive advantage? Are they just selling a small commodity? Size it appropriately. Like Intel and SanDisk, like SanDisk is another thing we can get into, but like these are companies that make products that there is demand and they're innovating, right? They're also genuinely pretty large, right? So it's harder for them to go down that much. I think you really you see the tides are rising and you just need to be on it. Like you do not need to go crazy. And I think really larger companies, more established companies, for the most part, there are exceptions. These are large companies for a reason. They've succeeded for a reason up to this point, right? So you could be more aggressive with sizing those. I think when you're looking at like all these niche photonics, I mean, what do you know about photonics? I don't know anything either, right? So it's like, let's not let's be let's be like a little have a little bit of humiliation here. Like know what you don't know. Like know what you don't know. That's actually number one. And just, yeah, I mean, the thing with Iran's happening, but if you really think it's a risk, you can do hedging. You can take a small amount of your capital. So you have 100 grand. If semis sell off, you're probably going to lose 30, 40 grand, right? Approximately. Just, you know, back of the envelope math. You could take 10, 15, 20 grand in like oil options and just hedge that risk. Now, if semis are really outperforming, even if you lost 10, 15 on that, you're probably still going to be fine. It's about risk reward, right? Like, you want to be all risk, or do you want to be like less risk and good reward, right?
What are sort of your narrative violations to us going up only for the next 3 years? How are you going to trade IPO season? SpaceX, we know, is coming very soon.
Yeah.
And then you have OpenAI looming, you have Anthropic looming, and then you have the rest looming. Market top, how do you think about that?
No, I don't think it's a market top. I mean, kind of like, why is there even a bull run at all? It's because people are buying these products, right? And they need to buy them because they need to serve AI, and serving AI is a great business. You actually see Anthropic is making tons of money off of this. Their revenue is like if you did like a regression, the line is just changing. The slope is like off the chart, right? So there's money to be made, and people need to buy these materials to make that money. That's going to continue. As far as IPO season, I mean, they need liquidity. They're big enough where it matters. I think Anthropic, OpenAI will probably be fine. Like Anthropic, you know, if you think tokens matter, if tokens are like electricity, or tokens are like the internet, you got to pay that monthly bill or something. Like, yeah, these are new businesses, and I can't work without tokens at this point, right? So I'm stuck. I have to pay for it. So I'm sure there's many other people. And again, we're just at the start. Like, this is like, people think it's like, this is the like, it's too toppy. Like, we just got the commitments from these big you know, hyperscalers or big, you know, tech companies that they want to spend 680 billion this year.
Yeah.
We just got it this year, right?
Yeah.
So like, next year, maybe it's not 680, maybe it's 300, 400. Year after, maybe it's 200. But still, the trend is there, right? So as far as like SpaceX, I mean, I'm not going to say anything too bad about SpaceX, but it's definitely like they need some liquidity, and it's priced a little aggressively.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Wait, a follow-up on that is like, okay, so this I'm curious what you would look and what you would pay attention to as far as like metrics go, if at all. Like if it's a ball tinkle thing, or if it's metrics. Like you get this Wall Street Journal article today that really has not new information, but it's OpenAI, like nothing new, right? We've been, Brad Gerstner clip's like 8 months old.
Yeah.
But OpenAI isn't making enough money to, you know, fund these contracts, pay Oracle for these data center build outs. Same story. Is there metrics that you should pay attention to? Is it just like general adoption of AI growth? Like, what do you actually look at to see this is accelerating, this is decelerating? CapEx spend?
Yeah, this is the best question I've ever been asked, by the way. I think this is like, kudos to you. This is a great question. Like, you're asking what's the signal, right? I think CapEx spend is a signal, but we all know it's kind of gonna like levy off eventually, right? But it's still pretty high. Leading labs revenue, I mean, don't look at just one company, look at the aggregate, right? Like, look at revenue, but also look at tokens. Like, how many more tokens are they shipping, right? Look at that. Then I would say you absolutely have to look at like leading edge fab capacity, because if that's expanding, like I said, TSMC is a conservative company. They're not going to expand that shit if they didn't know there's customers. I know for certain, like it's actually been telegraphed even by TSMC. AI accelerators on leading edge nodes for TSMC today is 35% of that capacity, right? So however many chips they make, it's 35% is AI accelerators. That might be going to 90% in like a couple of years. So that's all of it. That's basically all of it, right? So these are the things I would look at. I would look at, you know, shipments, like, you know, data centers, is construction breaking ground? But that's not as important as these other things, you know. Construction has all kinds of other issues, but that's what I would look at basically, right? I would look at those main things.
Token usage going up. Yeah, I like that actually. How concerned are you that at like it feels like even consumer businesses, every engineers using tokens up only trend to up to the right forever. I don't know why that would slow down. But how concerned are you that at some point the gap is basically even between Chinese AI labs and United States AI labs, and all these massive enterprise companies just get switched over to like Kimi or whatever for like 1/10 of the cost, and OpenAI and Anthropic are sort of fucked. Is that an actual concern?
Yeah. No, that's actually, again, you're asking the best questions on earth right now. But I think for consumer side, it definitely is a concern. For startups, it's a concern, right? Like those people have lower switching costs, right? A big multinational like JP Morgan or something, like they like, I mean, even today, I think we got an announcement from Amazon that OpenAI is on Amazon Bedrock. I don't even know what Amazon Bedrock is, but like it's on AWS, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's actually why is OpenAI on that? Well, because some people use AWS, right? And they're like, oh, you're on AWS, we trust you, right? So there is that when it comes to the enterprise side. So I think enterprise is definitely more sticky when it comes to people who are smaller consumers. They will switch the second there's a reason to switch. Either you're charging them too much or this model's better. I think the Chinese labs have a real advantage. I mean, they are, give them credit, like they are definitely matching, in certain categories, right? On coding and these other things. But really it's cost, right? Like the cost is really just however much you want to pay. Like at the end of the day, if you can make it cheaper, you can like just run on your own infra. But I don't think that's existential threat because everyone's going to innovate.
Yeah. Okay. I like that take. What about, and I'm just kind of firing at you now, but what about Citrini 2028 superintelligence, like deflation crisis thesis? What do you think about that playing out?
I think that's stupid. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Like technology is deflationary in a sense, right? But we're just going to get more stuff done. There's going to just be more money in the economy and things are just going to move faster. Like you already see it with coding, but it's like, yeah, man, when we invented like the steam engine, we did more trade. When we
Jevons
invented the
paradox,
engine,
right?
yeah. When we invented the engine, we picked more cotton. Like when we do like internet, we did more communication and business. Like AI tokens just let you do more work. What's expected of you, like compared to 5 years ago? 5 years ago, you would have been a legend if you were using this. Now that's the standard, right? So you're just gonna get more work done. I don't see like employment falling off a cliff. I think it's different kind of employment. It might be more specialized, but there is arguments on both sides. Like people will tell you, oh, well, you don't need the junior software engineer. Well, honestly, that junior software engineer is pretty cheap and the tokens are about the same thing. As long as he knows more or less what he's doing and I can check his work, he's probably fine. Like I feel like it's actually worse for some of these more senior people, unless you're doing something very, very niche, right?
This is a curveball, but just generally speaking, how much money does post-economic mean? Like, what does it mean to be post-economic? Lifestyle, whatever.
What's like a good salary in America? It's like maybe like 200K or so.
200K is good. Not like
Right.
not if you live in New York City, it's not great, but it's very good. It's very good.
In New York City, maybe 300, maybe 300K, 400K.
If you're making 300-400 in New York City, you're lit. Yeah, you're lit.
All right. Now, what if you don't have to work? What if you're making off interest? That's post-economic to me. So yeah, I mean, like if you have it, like that's rich. Like I don't actually consider people who like there's no shade to people who need to work. That's great. Like I work too, right? But I think it's more so like if your capital base can sustain your lifestyle very comfortably, you're very rich. Like you are rich.
So why are you going to continue working? Do you plan to continue working for the long haul?
I mean, what is there to do? Like I actually like technology. I want to like build shit. The thing is, I don't have to work for people I don't like. I don't have to like stay anywhere I don't want to be, right? So to me, it's more like, like there is this AI hyper to the moon thing, it's like maybe it's a great idea to be involved in that in some way or some form. And you got to find your meaning somewhere. I think, also like if I wasn't working, I said this before, but like I don't think I would have actually known enough to make these decisions, right? So no, I think working's good. I think learning's good. I think just do what makes you happy in life. I mean, like I'm not like a Reddit bro who's gonna like sit around and play video games, right? So it's a different kind of lifestyle, I guess.
What is your purpose of the Bubble Boy account? Like, I'm assuming your boss like knows about maybe helped you get hired. I don't know, but what is
Definitely not.
no? Does
No,
your boss even know who it is or no?
no. I don't
Okay.
think anyone really knows who it is.
So what is
honestly.
the purpose of the account and why do you post so much, post your trades, telegraph what you're doing?
No, I want to stop. Yeah, no. At this point, I'm just like, yo, like,
No.
no. I actually said like I want to delete it because at this point, it's like what benefit is there? I mean, it's great to talk to you. People like you is really the benefit. Um, Other than that, there's not really many benefits anymore. I really just made this account for fun. I've had it for a long time. I like, meeting people through it. I run a group chat where it's all like electrical engineers of like different
No
specialties.
way.
So meeting and talking to them is great. So stuff like that, like I think Twitter or X is like great for like it's the best networking because it's
It's
not
the
like
best.
LinkedIn. It's just like you just meet people who have the same interests, might have a different view of you. That's really the value of X, right? Like, I mean, me posting about stuff, I really just wanted to do a victory lap while I could, honestly, because I just been
You
beaten
took a pretty
down by.
good lap, by the way. It was a pretty good lap. It
I gotta
wasn't the
take a
greatest
victory
ever,
lap
but it
when I
was
can.
respectable lap.
Yeah, I had to take a victory lap. So. In my eyes, I mean, yeah, the purpose of the account will probably change. I don't think it's going to be P&L shots or like really like recommending companies, but maybe more so focused on the technology and making like serious posts about that. Like, and people can interpret that, what company to buy, right?
Yeah, of
But
course. Do you what do you recommend a a retail trader to focus on and approach trading style wise to outperform this market? Like, do you recommend people to do what you do, find a little intricacy and, never put money behind your second best idea? Like, how do you as a retail trader on Twitter that's online all day outperform these markets?
so it's a hard question. I think if you're a retail trader, forget coming up with good ideas. That actually doesn't matter. You don't need a good idea. You just need good risk management. I think you could just buy 10,000 stocks, sell 10,000 stocks. And if you're really good at cutting losers and letting the winners run and getting rid of any things that are correlated. So I would say just focus on risk management. Like focus on like being like, oh, I have all these stocks and then this news happened and all these things went down. Let me like figure out why, right? And like let me just be like, oh, okay, this went down like 20%. Why is that? Is it worth it? Are people in that sector also going down? Like, what's the story? How much of this is a risk? Like, am I long semis or am I long memory? And I'm long Intel and I'm long, photonics and I'm short PCBs or whatever, right? Like, know where risk is really coming from. Trading is all about risk management. It doesn't actually matter if you have a good idea. You're gonna have good ideas. You're gonna have bad ideas. The only thing that matters is like your good ideas run. You make more money in your good ideas than your bad ideas. I am not like the best trader either, to be honest. Like, let me be real. Like on the short side, I never made money shorting companies,
Short
right?
side's the worst. I hate it.
Short side's terrible. Like it's really hard to short companies and make money. I've gotten things wrong. Like I've not managed risk. But the only way I've actually, because I've been trading for a long time, like since my college days, the only way I've been able to reach this scale is by understanding risk management. That's the only way. I probably would have been here earlier if I knew how to. So I would say literally just know how to manage your risk, know where your risk is coming from. It's not I own Apple, I own Google. It's like, no, I own a feature. I own, tech. I own this. I own these exposures. I own Chinese companies. Well, if you own Chinese companies, you should know what the fuck's going on in China, right? Like the currency and all these other shit, stuff like that. I think risk management is all that matters at the end of the day.
Okay, one of the last, that was, first of all, that's beautiful. One of the last things I want to ask you is maybe the most important question. What is your next Intel? What is your next big one? Do you have it in your mind yet? Are you looking for it? Are you just focused on Intel? Where are you with that?
I mean, Intel's still not done. Like I said, it should be 600 billion today. Like just basic math, 600 billion. It should be $1 trillion probably soon. It should be 2 trillion maybe in like 3 years. So I mean, if everyone's been asking me what's the next Intel, just buy Intel. Like the fact that it's not going down from its 30% jump tells you everything you need to know. But other things I'm confident on, I mean, this is obvious, SanDisk, right? But really, SanDisk is making an innovation called high bandwidth flash, HBF. It's like high bandwidth memory, but it's for flash. They are probably getting samples of that by the end of the year. So I'm very interested to see that. That's like to me, like that's like, yo, don't kill yourself. This HBF is coming, right? Like stay in the game. This HBF is coming. Like pay attention. I'm really excited about that. I mentioned a company, but like it's not like a huge company, and it's not like you said, it's not my number one thing. But I like this company. The ticker is called Flex. Flex just really makes water cooling equipment, right? We've kind of seen that NVIDIA's telegraphed that the voltages of their systems are going up. So they're going from what was called 48 volt to like 800 or something. You're gonna need more cooling. I think the main reason why I like Flex though is because they're not just making these like little cooling blocks. They're designing it with the people who are designing the chips. Because like contrary to like popular belief, like if you design it with the people designing the chips and we're pushing this much voltage, the cooling matters a lot. And the cooling needs to be designed for your chip. It can't just be a generic thing. That's what we've been doing, like, you know, for all of history. Now they're going to make special cooling blocks for specific chips. And I think that's underpriced. I think the market right now is just like seeing this as a commodity cooling company, while I see it as like a consulting company that's going to consult every company making these crazy high voltage chips on how to cool them.
Damn, sick show. Thanks for the show. Also, D Gills, thanks for the gifted subs and the Intel men in the chat. That brother is up. Oh wait, okay. Last thing I want to know is why did you add to Intel before earnings? Like you were just fully convicted that it was gonna crush and it was gonna pop. Like was that just a gamble, or was that I know something?
I definitely didn't have any kind of inside info. I think when you look at the history of like earnings, trading earnings is like great, by the way. Like this is like institutional, like people trade earnings, right?
Yeah.
If you like look at earnings, like earning surprises and earning beats will typically come after like a crazy miss. But if the miss is like not structural, right? So what was the like Intel missed last time and I lost quite a bit of money. But the reason why they missed was they didn't ramp up capacity enough to meet the demand, right? I also just knew that their EMIB technology was great and people were trying it. Like, but this isn't like inside info, right? So you're the CEO of a company. You missed because you didn't see this huge demand for your product because you're now trying to ramp up supply for your next product. Well, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna miss again. You're gonna be like, you're gonna go back to your team and be like, figure this shit out. Like, and there's a couple ways you can get like better, you know, like more tips out of the same process, right? And Intel figured it out, right? Also, like, yeah, people were gonna like, we knew that they telegraph it. They know the timeline of 14A when it's gonna come out. 14A is like 0.9 PDK. PDK is just like, you know, it's good to go. 0.9 means it's almost 1.0, right? So it's like they're at 0.9, like they were telegraphing this, right? On packaging, they were telegraphing this. Like you just got to pay attention and know what matters. I'm not always right on these things, but yeah, it was a gamble, but I had just a feeling that there was no way he was gonna just fuck it up twice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's helpful to your perspective on how you think about it, and dude, I appreciate you coming on. I'm a fan of yours because I think there's a lot of you on Twitter that's just like these non-PFPs that are super deep on a sector, on a trade idea, on a concept. You get autistic about it, you hyper understand it, and you publicly just like have alpha. Like, you're kind of just like a guy, a really smart guy, but you're a guy that's on Twitter. You respond to people. You can communicate with people. They can get in contact with you. You post your thoughts publicly, and then you bink a monster. And I think it's inspiring for a lot of people that are on this app trying to figure out how to trade, trying to figure out how to navigate markets. So, like, it can be done, and there are people that aren't, Citadel, that are doing it publicly with a thesis that's logical, that's linear, that makes sense, and then putting the bow on top. So, dude, congratulations on the trade.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on, man. Maybe we could do a part 2 at some point.
Definitely, man. Thank you for your time. It was great fun.
Hell yeah, Boy, you're the man, dude. Hey, anything you want to shill before you leave? Anything you want to shout out, shill, mention, whatever?
I gotta mention my boys at Through, since you're big in crypto.
Hell yeah.
I want to mention my friends at Through. You can see it on my profile. My bad. So mention my friends over there.
Shout out Robert Chang, baby.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
goat. Hell yeah.
All
right, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace. That guy rocks. I really enjoyed that, man. What'd you think? Bubble Boy interview. These are the kind of guys that get missed in a lot of these big finance podcasts and like shows that I'm the most excited about them. I'm the most excited about the like random anon that just is like a guy. I mean, he's like obviously a really smart guy, but he's not, top engineer at Jane Street. And he's just like a guy, gets autistic about an idea, understands it super deeply, finds a opportunity, crushes it, slams size behind it, and then crushes it, and then is super right in public. It's just like, to me, that is the storyline of this stream. Like, this is what I am interested in. This is what I care about. And I think we could just, I don't know, like, I think you could be Bubble Boy. You could be Bubble Boy. Like, I could be Bubble Boy. You could hit that trade. It's possible for you to do it, which is why the whole thing is exciting. I know everyone's sending it to me. Elon. Today is a turning point for Pump and Pump Fun. I want to give more context in the bigger picture on where we're actually going. Over the past 9 months, 100% of revenue went into buybacks. Basically, no other platform in crypto has done that at this scale. Well, it hasn't fucking worked. But however, we have received ongoing feedback specifically on the feeling of a lack of trust and the certainty of buybacks and what would happen to the bought back tokens, even in whether the business itself would be here in a year. Today, we're changing that. It started with burning $370 million worth of pump purchases, 36% of the circulating supply removed from circulation forever. But that isn't enough. We're also allocated 50% of our next year revenue to programmatic buybacks and burns. No more uncertainty for those, just so it's down to 50%. No more uncertainty for those who believe in us and those we're proud to call our community. But why not 100%? The short answer is the business simply needs the other 50% to grow. Fair take. A large treasury gives us the flexibility to make big bets over the next 5 to 10 years, and 50% of ongoing revenue enables us to build better products, infrastructure, and reinvest into the ecosystem. I'm extremely confident that 50% of the business we're building towards will dwarf 100% of the business we have today. It's written a little weird. Our conviction this ecosystem is also permanent. It has it's only been 2 years. That's crazy. It's only been 2 years, man. January 24, I think. January 24, I think Pump Fun launches. I'll never forget it, by the way. First person ever told me about Pump Fun was Frank. He said, this is going to take over the world. I'll never forget it. Exactly 2 years ago, my co-founders and I were cold DMing anyone who would respond. Today, Pump Fun is at hundreds of billions in lifetime volume, over $1 billion in revenue, and has been dominant on-chain trading platform for almost the entirety of those 2 years, all from a single product, the bonding curve. In contrast, spot crypto has existed for over a decade and a half, perps for over a decade, and prediction markets for over half a decade. When we first found PMF, the infra around on-chain trading was in its infancy. By the way, I interviewed Elon in June 2024, and I had never used the Pump Fun product before, which is nuts. The trenches didn't exist as a concept yet. Today, on-chain, our job is to make the primitive better, dramatically better UX, making it easier, more fruitful for new kinds of asset classes to tokenize, such as startups, better and more marketing for an eco as a whole, and our interface products, supporting and amplifying our ecosystem, revenue that isn't allocated to buybacks doesn't disappear. It goes directly into making the platform bigger, ecosystem investment, marketing, product, and acquisitions. Every dollar not burned is a dollar being put to work toward the same outcome. I want to be honest about where we're at. Most crypto companies have trended to zero. Sorry, I'm probably do tweet. Most crypto companies are trending to zero. Most of the names you saw at the top last cycle aren't even bundling anymore. We've taken our share of hits too. Endless FUD, a hack, numerous market pullbacks, and yet Pump Fund is still here. Still profitable, still building, still the most used on-chain trading platform in the space. Some people already think Pump Fund is a success. I don't. My biggest problem is I work too hard. Reply. The mission is to bring token launching and trading to the rest of the world and to grow within the decades to come. To do that, we have to survive multiple cycles, build a product so good that non-crypto natives use it without thinking, and turn Pump Fund from just a meme coin launchpad into the default place anything tokenizable gets launched and traded on chain. Bear case. We lose PMF while trying over the course of many, many years. We don't fulfill our vision. Bull case. We hit PMF again and become a generational consumer platform. Should I look? 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 Okay, let's look. Wow, you guys retraced that really fast. Really fucking fast. My God. Guys, Jesus. 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 What did we even get on this candle? We got like a 10%er. It's now retraced the whole move. I invited him on the stream, by the way. Why not, right? I would love to have him on again. I think it'd be a fun interview to have him back. We'll see if he would like to join. But yeah, I mean, it's just there's not much to say about Pump Fund. I mean, it's in a brutal spot. I have been extremely vocally critical about the trenches. Now, that isn't some like revolutionary take. It's been down bad for a while. Everybody has. But it is a disaster until further notice. Because it's just the same. I said the same thing about NFTs. It's not going to come back unless things start fucking candling going up. And the only way things are going to candle go up is if there's something new to do. You know? So I don't know. Also, I traded this dog shit and I got in typical Solana meme coin fashion, I got destroyed. It is what it is. It was fun to trade. I had fun torching $30,000. But yeah, it's just in a tough spot. It really is in a tough spot. Yeah, I know. I got crushed. Revenue, they're basically consistently under $1 million now on buybacks. And it's going to get way lower. I mean, it's going to be half of this, right? 350K, 400K a day, give or take. So, got crushed with you too, Rip. You shouldn't tail my on-chain account, brother. You should not. I just gamble on that. I'm a perps trader now. I'm an equity perps trader. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much of a take, really, on the pump thing. I'm down to do a timeline scroll with you, but I don't have... It's like, what does this even mean? If Pump Fund was investing in growth for the trenches? It's like, what does that even mean? This is what I've never understood. It's like, what does that even mean? Invest growth in the trenches. It's like, that isn't marketing. But I've never understood this take. It's to me, it's such a... Let's market dog shit so more people can buy our dog shit. Instead of, let's make better stuff so more people can buy better stuff. It's never made sense to me that crypto would get better if we had a better perception. It's like, no, you have a bad perception because the tokens are untradeable. There's not... If Pump Fund bought a Super Bowl commercial for, $10 million, would that bring people to on-chain? No. The only thing that would bring people to on-chain is coins going up. That's what would bring people on-chain. Not marketing. I've never understood this take. It's a very... It's a garbage take, respectfully. It very much is. So, I thought the streaming thing was a good shot. What's the Bezos take? Like, anytime, Jeff Bezos, anytime you have like a 100x opportunity, like a 10% at 100x or something. Yeah, anytime you have a 10% chance for a 100x payoff, you should take it. That was the streaming. right? That was a correct bet that they obviously had to do. But this, I mean, what does this even mean? Like, what does this even mean? Invest in what? Should I call him? Should I call him? Just because we're like fucking around? Okay. Yo, stream. Let's
go, bro.
You're on stream, if you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I'm just like clowning your tweet because I just like think it's a bad tweet. It's like the Duve take, and I'm kind of bored, and so I called you. I'm just like, what if you ran Pump Fund and you wanted to quote invest in growth for the trenches? What would you do with $200 million?
You know what I wouldn't do?
No, I'm not asking what you wouldn't do. It's like the easiest. Yeah, I wouldn't have bought back. It didn't work. But like, what would you do?
I would fucking market, bro. I'd pay for growth. Like, I mean.
Yeah, no one has any answer to this. This is the thing.
What about? Okay, I have an answer, but it's like it's a weird answer. But because obviously the greatest crypto app of all time is FOMO, and it's 1,000 times better than the Pump Fund app. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
rip a hashtag ad at the end of that. Rip a hashtag ad. This is the.
No, what I'm saying.
No, Nikita, watch the stream. Do a hashtag ad at the end of that, please.
Well, their app is ass. What about that? Their app fucking sucks.
Yeah, but no one's ever used the Pump app ever for anything. No one's ever used the Pump UI ever.
I know. These
chat. Have you ever traded a meme coin on Pump directly? No, of course not.
Thread. Products like FOMO grow the space and grow the trenches. Any app that makes it easier to onboard people, and makes it easier to trade, is going to grow the space. And so, if Pump uses their fucking $500 million to fucking actually,
no one has an answer.
Fucking promote it. That's a huge.
No one has an answer.
That's a huge thing they could do. It is. I mean, dude, they burned $370 million. You could buy out Orangey's fucking endorsement for the next fucking 3,000 years if you want. Like these are guys.
That's what you would do with the money? You would buy Orangey? What?
Are you kidding me? Of course, bro. Orangey's a mover.
Oh man, what the fuck was that take? That's what you would do? You buy Orangey? What?
This is a better take. They were doing 100% buybacks, and not a single person in your chat was buying the token. So what the fuck do they owe y'all? Why would they be buying back 100% when nobody's buying the token anyways?
They should have spent it on. By the way, I feel bad I have to shit on Orangey, but like, I mean, this is what peptides do to a brain, huh?
I mean. Okay, let me do this. No, dude.
I'm fucking. Someone said in the chat. I read a chat message.
No, but why are you? But you're just clowning me. But it's like I'm not saying dumb things.
No, I'm not. This is what. I'll be serious. It's the Jack Duval take that I just think is like unfair. That if they were, I just think the business model is fundamentally kind of fried. The meme coin thing. But I think
nobody knows. Like, nobody knows if Duval's wrong. Like, you don't actually know if Duval is wrong, that you can market the fucking space.
I guess, but it's just like crypto people are always like, we need to convince more people to buy our dog shit instead of we need to make more good stuff for people to buy. Like, I think it's like.
Well, they're doing this hackathon thing. Okay, how many hackathon coins are you buying? Pop Punk on chain. You buying the Pop Punk on chain coin? You're talking about lighter physiognomy. You're talking about Vladimir physiognomy. You buying Pop Punk on chain little fucking coin? Like, come on, bro. You're
all right. Fair. I don't like the coin either. I don't like it either.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't even trade crypto, bro. You're buying like fucking Intel stocks, like microchip shit. That's where we're at. AI bottleneck fucking
Fair.
This is terrible, bro. Crypto sucks. Except for FOMO.
You don't fuck with Yeet?
Yeet is it's not exactly crypto. It's I wouldn't consider it crypto. Although they're doing an airdrop, so that's gonna cook.
Shout out Mando. All right, I just wanted to get your take. Nobody
was buying Pump's token. So like, why do they need to do buybacks? The only people that are actually benefiting is these VCs that aped into the pre-sale for the token, and now they're getting exit link. That's it.
Wow. Anyone?
Exit, like they were just buying out VC funds that ate 50 mil into the fucking.
Hey, can I be honest? Can I be honest? Buy Orangey for the next 3,000 years is pretty funny.
Dude, he deserves it, bro.
All right. Thanks for the takes, man. You're one of the best, dude. I don't know what I would do with myself if I couldn't call you. Seriously, I mean it. I wasn't sarcastic. I actually mean it.
Oh, thanks, bro. You're the goat. How was Bubble Boy?
The best.
You're lit, bro. Fuck TBPN.
Stop, dude. I gotta take the fucking mic now. We love TBPN. What the fuck was that, dude? You're done. Bye. We love TBPN. What the fuck was that, man? Oh God. Oh. I know. He's like, how can I just like Rasmus said something good, and he's like, how can I ruin this? That's his sign off. How can I ruin this thing that's like pretty good and going well? How can I Roid Rage is really funny. Chat, what would you do? 200 million. 200 million, and Elon says, here's the multi-sig. Do something. What would you do? I don't know what you would do. I don't know. I'm sending coins, but it doesn't work. You can only do it for so long, right? It's like, why? Okay, think about this. You're sending coins, but why did the bundlers stop bundling? Well, why did the crime cabal bundlers stop crime cabal bundling? You start making money. One of the mistakes they made, by the way, is I think the stock, the TardFi guys are pretty dumb, but they have some, TardFi's been around for so long that they figured some stuff out, TradFi. And one of the things I think stocks have figured out is like the art of the buyback. And I think something crypto pump fund messed up is that there's certain times when you should buy back your stock or your coin, and it isn't every day, no matter what. I think there's like levels at which they could have gotten strategic with the buybacks, and they could have had an ungodly amount of money to line up headlines with like slamming buyback announcements down here that they wasted at like really, really high market caps. But at the end of the day, all of these are incremental fixes. Like this doesn't actually fix anything. So it's tough. What to do with 200 mil? Hire some Gigabrain CT native free thinkers. But like, okay, then what? But no one ever has a take on this. Then what? Okay, hire who? Hire threadguy. What do I'm asking you guys what to do. So I don't know what I would do if I was in charge of Elon. Then what? That's what they're for. But it's like Elon has $1 billion and they can't figure out what to do with it, And so it's a hard problem it's probably one of the most fascinating problems in the world, but it is what it is. I don't know exactly what you would do to solve it, but it's a tough one. It's probably one of the most fun problems to work on in all of the world is how do you save crypto? Because I'll say something to you. I spent mid 5 figures. It's now worth 0 on a meme coin yesterday because I don't know. I don't really know why I did it. I just like woke up and I was looking at my balance on chain and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I was in the mood and I just did it, fired it, ripped it. And I'll tell you this, I've been trading only perps. I traded my first perp after 1010. And so I have been trading mostly only perps for the last 6 months. And I've done fine. I've had some good trades. I've had some bad trades. I've gotten better. I've done P&L wise. I've done fine. It should have been a lot better, but I think I've gotten a lot better as a trader. But I grind. To grind out a mid 5 figure P&L on perp is like it's a grind. It is hard to do it, and I feel as if I need to be like real. Like I really have to like bink some shit with skill if I make money on a perp trade. I aped this. My FOMO P&L is bad. I fired into this on-chain coin yesterday, and then the first thing you do after you buy an on-chain coin is what? You start doing moon math. And so I started doing moon math on how much I'm up on a 10x. And the moon math gets really crazy really fast. And the one thing you realize, even despite how dead the trenches are, There is no way to make money as fast and as aggressively as you could with a low cap on chain coin. There just isn't. There's no replicating what's possible because you do Moonmouth and like, okay, if this go to 100 mil, which, you know, at least back in my day, it wasn't that ridiculous to go to 100 mil. I mean, it's not easy to do it, but to get there is possible. And you start doing math on like, my God, right? There's nowhere else where you could hit 100x like that fast in markets as you can in crypto. And I think that, you know, it's the Remus P&L. No, stake. You're fucking fried. How dare you say stake on that? What are you talking about? Stake? No, chat. Have you ever made money on purely an online casino? Stake, shuffle, any of this? Of course not. What are you talking about? Stake? It's the Remus P&L, right? You could turn $500 into $1 million and it's realized. And that will always be like the best crypto bull case. And I don't think that goes away. But for a while, we might just be in the gutter. And I think that we are in the gutter. And I don't think it's wrong to say that we're in the gutter. And I think you shouldn't be mad at somebody telling you it's in the gutter. And we should look for other stuff to trade in the meantime until it's not in the gutter. Period. Done. So... But yeah, the moon math thing is retarded. I mean, I'm doing moon math. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting here doing moon math thinking, what the actual fuck? Anyways, Bubble Boy interview was awesome. By the way, that guy is don't get it twisted. That guy's like a fucking genius. That guy that we just had on the stream. A lot of people were calling him a LARP on Twitter. I'm not buying it. Guy's a genius, but we can make money in this market. It's a weird one. I'm not getting overly aggressive here. I think anytime I've ever lost money, it's the lack of patience. And so I'm chill right now. I'm low key. I'm mostly in cash. I have a concert I have to go to tonight, which is crazy, but I made a commitment to it. I have to go, and so I have to get off in a second. But I think what Bubble Boy preaches and what he did, what Pee Poo Poo did, what I don't want to say. I'll tell you tomorrow after I go. What Chris Camillo has done, what all of these guys have done is shown that you could get really autistic about an idea, about a concept. You can know more about the idea than other people. You can full port it. You can put all your money behind your best idea and you can be right and you can make a lot of fucking money. These markets are beatable in spots. They're beatable in spots. And the only reason I exist on this stream and do this is so I can teach myself knowledge. I can get smart myself and I can figure out how to make money in public markets. And I'm a very, very, very firm believer that if I do this and you watch for long enough, you'll pick up on the same stuff I pick up on. Like, that's just where we're at. That's where we're at. I think that we are going to be the best in the world at this. I think the stream is going to be the hub for retail traders to figure out how to make money in public markets. And I think that we've been doing that. We will continue to do that, and we'll do it again in the future. We've been doing this for a long time. First it was crypto, then we made a little money with commodities. Now we're trying to figure out how to trade stocks. We're going to put the whole thing together at some point here. It's not going to be easy. It really is not. And most people that are watching are just, as a default, not profitable, right? But at some point, if you're good enough, you will be, and there will be opportunities to do it. And so I'm a firm believer that we are going to realize those opportunities. And so if you're not yet, it's like, there's only one thing. If you're not profitable, there's only one direction to go, right? And so it's fucking figuring out how to be. And that's all I'm focused on. I feel like we've learned a lot. If you've been with me every day for the last 4 or 5 months, I mean, if you've been with me every day since CZ interview, think about how much we've done from that BTC all-time high to where we are right now, how much more you know about the world, about markets, about macro, about AI, about all of these concepts that I didn't even have any comprehension for what they were before, you know? And so we're getting there slowly but surely, but it's definitely I think about it one stream at a time, man. Every day is like, what can we learn today? What can we learn today? What can we learn today? So Bubble Boy is a rare banger. Tomorrow we have Tolks coming on, who I think is one of the smartest people in crypto that also has a really sharp finger on the pulse for his equity stuff and for stocks and for, you know, just the broader market implications. And he is probably going to be a sick guest, so I'm excited for him. So, Tolks tomorrow, Bubble Boy today, stream over. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you all so much for supporting. I will catch you when I get you. I'll see you when I see you. If you're new here, I'm live every day at 3:40 p.m. EST, 3:40 p.m. EST. It's 3:30, but it's really 3:40, more like 3:45. I do the same thing we do today that we do every single day. It's a banger. It's a movie. We're getting better. We're getting bigger. We're getting stronger. We're getting better. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out. Peace.